Hey, peace, MC Fact. Yeah, it's gonna be a late one right here. Yeah, it's what it is. Great. Yeah, we went from hot and now we're cold. All right. Yeah, so I touched on this a little bit. I think yesterday when I was cooking the tether, but I got, of course, I was able to dig a little more. But I want to share this. This is going to seem like it's fake, right? Let me know if you guys remember this. This is Dr. Umar account. All right. Dr. Umar Johnson, Papa, comic and action figure psychologist by day, protecting the Black community by night, sidestepping haters. Yo, if this doesn't show you that this dude is nuts, if you guys take this, anybody with a crazy plan that can save Black people and they are 100% unqualified, we gotta stop taking them serious and have fun with them, regardless of their credentials. Like some people on that spectrum, they have good degrees, right? And they could serve a purpose in the employment field, you know, but it doesn't mean their ideas outside of their education isn't aren't insane. So this guy wants to create like a modern day Marcus Garvey idea. Right? He wants to create a school in his school, think about his claim, all the Black schools in America, not just Black schools, all the schools that Black folks can attend freely are unqualified to teach Black boys. It's going to take his school. He knows the answers, right? The problem he sees in schools. Remember, this guy never did anything remotely close or no small level, but he's going to have a school. He's gonna come up brand new as listen, we gotta get smart, man. Because we stay getting scammed and led astray by people with these new ideas with no proof of concept. They have not even their portfolio suggests nothing that they will be able to accomplish these ridiculous goals. Nothing in his background led anybody believe that he can, and he was talking university. Bro, he can, yeah, bro, show us how successful you are in a barbershop tutoring session with kids. I remember watching his phone calls. He'll do a lot of conference calls with a lot of Black women, and they would call in and ask about their kid, their ADD status, ADHD, and what he would do without looking at anybody diagnosis, what he would do is immediately try to help them get their kid away from special ed. I got a news flash. Okay, some kids belong in special ed. Okay, now special ed doesn't mean your kid is disabled mentally. It means that your kid, sometimes it just means that your kid will excel just like anybody else. They just need a smaller class. Okay, a smaller class. It doesn't mean that they are going to be less educated than folks in a larger class. They're just saying, hey, man, I can get it. I can understand like everybody else. I just need a little more attention. I need my questions answered faster than everybody else, right? That's all it means. Doesn't mean you can't learn. It doesn't mean you're guaranteed to learn less or be undereducated than everybody else. Some people can actually read a book with background noise. Some people need complete silence. Well, that person that needs complete silence, that person might, people could look at them as like a short bus type of person because you can't function, you can't comprehend, you can't learn with distractions. Other people can. So let's say if school is being held in a park, you know, New York City, and there's cars, taxis going by, right? And it's a class. Well, if you are having trouble comprehending and learning the lesson, then guess what? You're going to need special requirements like that person in that school. Like you're no different. What I'm trying to say is that you're no different. And there's nothing wrong with needing complete silence to get it. Whatever you need to get it, as long as you got it, I don't see you as any different than a person who didn't need those special requirements. So Umar, so some people need that. Some people diagnoses are real. Some might be mixed diagnosed. But to sit there and claim everybody is being misdiagnosed and you're gonna help every parent get their kids away from like a small class and put them in that large class to fail potentially. Remember, he's in a small class because it's proven that he can't or she can't function in a larger class with all that noise and distraction and their questions not being answered because it's more people raising their hand. So now if you want to be a mom and act like your kid can get it with those distractions, then you're really doing your kid a disservice. And they're gonna, you know what's gonna happen? They're gonna not get it, right? They're gonna feel not special. They're gonna feel like they're dumb. They're gonna be teased. They're gonna be treated like they're dumb with the teachers, students, their peers, and they're gonna feel uncomfortable, insecure going back to their classroom, feeling like that. So they're gonna try to stay home. And you know what's home, right? You know what's home. Felonies, that's what's home, okay? So that's what he used to do. He used to be on conference call. I used to watch those, listen to those garbage sessions. Give parents advice on their kid's status, and he know nothing about why the kid is taking the parent's word. She most likely she didn't even know or understand why her kid is in those classes. But for Umar to blindly just go with the parent assessment or opinion is wild. Now he should have did not a real person's interested in the affairs of your kids, right? After he help you get out of those small classes and put and reintroduce your kids in the large classes where they had trouble learning. Where's the follow-up to all those kids that got reintroduced back in the large classes? Where are the follow-ups? Where's the 4-year, 5-year follow-up where that kid is most likely in charge for, you know, red rum, you dig, in charge for transporting large quantities of that white stuff or that green stuff. The videos that I do reactions on, like that's where their kids are most likely at. Or where are the videos, where's the updates of those kids being red rum themselves? So you can't sit here and get and try to help fix a problem, dust your hands off and walk away and never give us a live update on what happened to that kid as a result of your expertise, of your guidance. Look at this shit. This is real. This is your papa. He was trying to sell this to all those single moms. So somebody replied, well, at least we know where that GoFundMe went. People laughing. Yeah, this is crazy. Look, love it. Only 23 retweets, 25 likes. Nobody even took this serious. But this guy was dead ass. He was trying to get an action figure because he's protecting the black community. Look at this. This is what Umar making with y'all donations. So this is a sick individual, man. Produced no, and it look, it's in front of Africa. This dude produced nothing besides no school, none of his ideas, but he produced something that was not part of his original goals. A damn action figure. I wonder how much is it? Okay, that's your boy. That is your boy. The Prince of Pan-Africanism. Got something else. I got one more thing before I get to their hot. I want my audio good. I think yesterday when I was cooking the tether. Okay, let me fix that microphone. Something said the microphone I'm using is not from the headset. Something said go ahead and check the microphone. Okay, so yeah, it's not. I don't know why I get through the audio check. Hello. The microphone I'm using is not from the headset. Something said go ahead and check the microphone. Okay, so yeah, it's not. I don't know why I get through the audio check. Hello. Yes, I can't figure this headset out at all. The microphone I'm using is not from the headset. Something said go ahead and check the microphone. Okay, so yeah, it's. All right, I might have to use my iPad because I can't figure this headset out at all. Nice. I went live like an idiot. Didn't even check microphone. Didn't check. So it's on that foolishness. All right, let me get this right. Their portfolio suggests nothing. Go with the pen. Ah, their education. Can't stand this goddamn headset. They work sometimes and other properly, and then other days they don't. Yep. Wait. Hello? You. Nah, I don't see the levels. All right, you know what? Let me just log up an iPad. I don't know why. I'm just maybe because it's late. I did a late live. I didn't even. Uh, all right. Okay, I'm gonna log in from my iPad. These headsets, man, I don't even know. I try to look at some, some videos on it, but people just did unboxes. Like they didn't even go in on how to set it up correctly. Here we are.
All right. All right. The audio should be good now. All right. All right. The audio should be good now. Okay. Peace to the chat. Donnie, Nat, FBAD, Claude, the Watcher, Tiger, MC Fact. This is a late live. I was not going to go live at all. I said, let me just go tomorrow. But then I knew tomorrow I probably won't go live in the morning. So let me just get out the way now. All right. So the Umar action figure is wild. Okay. This is wild. Okay. I mean, when you could do something like that, like come on. Like you are self-centered.
5 academic year. I need you to understand, overstand, understand.
I hate when I do that.
I need you to understand.
So you know, Umar loves to go live, and then he gets these phone calls that's like unplanned, and they usually mess up his lives and expose him. So he needs you to understand, overstand, and understand. I have no idea what those things, how they relate to each other. I never heard of understand, and I never heard overstand using a sentence. And I know what understand is. So I'm like confused for a guy who's educated, like who's supposedly highly educated, like this brother, say the word understand and overstand. I don't know what's going on here.
EMG for the
More red
2024-2025 academic year. I need you to understand, overstand, understand. I need you to understand, overstand, and understand.
Hey, yo, when he do the nose thing, yo, the nose thing is just everything, yo. He did a little sniff thing. So one more time. Understand.
I need you to understand, overstand, understand. I need you to understand, overstand, and understand.
That nose thing.
Brother Jose.
Sí, señor, ¿cómo está?
Peace and love, good brother. You got any time to slide by today?
Sí, tengo 5 minutos.
As soon as possible. How soon can you get here?
15 minutos, 20.
601 East 17th Street, Wilmington.
Ok.
We're right around the corner from the Boys and Girls Club.
Sí, comprende.
601 East 17th Street, Wilmington, Delaware.
Comprende, sí.
Yeah, look, this guy, he just so much of a fit. Jose, I need you to meet me. Yo, this guy is just full of it, man.
Can I come now? Why are you sniffing? You sniff time? What's going on? Turn the heat down.
Yes, sir. We have.
Look. So then So he's live right now. Who tells their whole business on the live? Like, why is he? I'm telling. If you guys can't see that he is a complete scammer, you guys are just vulnerable to anybody. This guy's gonna tell the whole operation on a live phone call with Jose. Okay, and notice that's not on speakerphone. Dude, put it on speakerphone. Listen to this play. This like he's a scammer and he's bad at it. It's worse. Like if I get scammed by one time, I got scammed twice. on some phone call electronic stuff. And they were good though. Like they were actually good. So I was like, okay, I got my money back when I called the banks. But they got me on Wells Fargo and they got me on TD Bank. One, they cleared out everything. The other one, they took everything but $100. They left me a little something. And they always do it when you over rent, like when it's rent time coming. They did. So, but they got me good. All right. They got me good. They caught me in the right setting. I'm I'm already being rushed. I'm trying to handle some things. So they called me from the same number that your bank will use, like for you to verify a number. They called me. I don't know how they did it, but they called from that number. So they're saying Wells Fargo. You did like the number I used to confirm a text they sent. So they're calling from that number. Hey, did you make a large purchase? You know, it was the fraudulent the unit because at that time I was buying like goofy stuff. So and I when you buy goofy stuff, sometimes you make a cancel or they send you the wrong size and you gotta make a decision. Hey, okay, do I send it back or do I want the right size? But when here's the game though. When you say I want the right size, they'll charge you again and then refund you back from the other one when you send that one back. So it ain't like they just send you the next size and we're good. No, they will charge you the same amount, a dollar amount. All right. So like that was happening to me. Okay. So when they said, hey, did you spend this much money? I'm looking like, hey, did they charge me a third time for these damn sneakers? So now, they just called me at the right time. So I'm like, hold on, what's going on? They said, okay, we're going to send you a text. Read it back. They sent me a text. I read it back. They banged on me. Click. I'm like, and this is how bad they are at scamming. They could have did better had they just got me off the phone a little easier than that. Okay, well, we'll give you a phone call back in 10 minutes. Just stay by your phone. It's the same number or something like that. We're going to work on this. But like they banged on me. So that when they banged on me, that gave me some suspicion. Like, wait, what was that about? So I called my bank. No, I called my bank to check a balance. That thing was like, you have negative, like I think they brought me to the negative. You have negative $3 in your account. It's like, oh shit. So I called the bank, the fraudulent, I explained everything, got the money back. And then they got me on a TD bank account somehow. I don't remember how they got me here, but they got me again. All right. But they were kind of good. That's the bottom line. This guy is horrible. This guy is faking phone calls. He's playing with you in front of your face while he asks for donations. So now listen to this fake ass phone call that he's not having. There's nobody on the opposite end. We don't hear any voices. He's not on speakerphone. This is a one-sided phone call. And he already got caught before. He already got caught before when he was so-called beefing with Sarasut and Seti. And he was getting the goons, and his phone rang as he was talking to the goons. So, I mean, this guy antics is just unbelievable. Yeah, and, a lot of these guys, man. Some of these guys be. You ever watch the shows where the guy who impersonate a cop and they get locked up? Like they actually pull you over with all the damn flickering lights and the uniform and everything, and they'll get pulled over by a real cop right while they're doing that traffic stop, that illegal traffic stop, and they will go to jail. And it'd be, listen, it's serious because it'd be their like ninth offense. This don't be like their first offense, and maybe their ninth. That means they got caught 8 other times doing this. So people are just like, but they're good at it. They're good at impersonating a cop. So some say that this guy is great at impersonating a clinical school psychologist.
I need you to look at 2 things, brother Jose.
Okay.
The first thing is the HVAC unit on our small gym has to.
So he's gonna do all this on the live, and you don't hear. Look, blinking his eye. You don't hear Jose at all. Well, we see him now, but when he did the live, we didn't see Jose at all. You didn't hear Jose. He's trying to convince us. Like, listen, I need y'all to be smart. Stop being desperate. And stop wanting to hear something because they're gonna give it to you. So this guy is having this one-way fake conversation with Jose. Look at the HVAC.
to be switched out.
Sí.
Unit on our small gym has to be switched out.
Sí.
Wait, hold on. Listen, when you hire a contractor, I just don't like help me out. When you hire a contractor, they got all that stuff. Like they do all that, they handle that. So this would not be Umar making a phone call to Jose. This would be the one of the representatives of the contractor and company. They will call Jose because contractors they do hire out. They don't do they don't do everything in your home. Like they'll hire out a company that they are good with, and they will come to. Like in the contractor world, like they are good with connections. They know they probably don't cut your lawn, but they hire somebody to cut your lawn. You dig somebody who's pretty good, reputable. So it saves you. They'll charge you for that. You might pay a little more, but it's worth it because you don't know reputable landscape companies, so you'll get burnt a few times before you. Well, the contractors like they already know who's good and who's trash. So, but they'll charge you for that though. You best believe you're paying an extra fee. Now they ain't gonna tell you up front, but that's in the overall price. So whoever they contract to do the HVAC, believe me, like you're paying an inflated price for all that. Anyway, it's the contractor who calls Jose to tell him what to do. What the hell does Umar know about the HVAC? Like that's not even his position. Yeah, when you hire a contractor, right, to do the work, you just sit back and you oversee the project. That's all. Like you're the overseer, but you're not really the most educated on what's going on. They update you. Hey, look at this right here. This is broke, and this needs fixing. And then they let you know that they inform you and say, okay, because they want to tell you like what can cause a delay in the project.
Company that produced the existing unit can replicate another unit.
¿Qué?
I just need to find a tech who is able to replace the unit when the new one has completed production.
Okay, no.
Yeah.
Okay, so this guy is so people that is involved in this work, doing this stuff for years, they like, yo, that dude's a scammer. Like they know right away, like, what is he doing?
As of February 2025, the school doors remain closed.
All right, so I just want to play that for y'all. I found it like funny that he went there and did a one-way conversation with himself to convince people to send more donations. And unfortunately, that actually worked. That actually worked for some of our people. But the good thing is that now we know about delineation. That man, half of those donors probably Nigerian, something like that. You dig? So that makes me feel better. That everybody they aren't FBA like I previous thought before we knew to delineate. So I feel a little better. Like we ain't that damn stupid. There are some other blacks out there that are equally as stupid to send this guy some money. He's never going to produce a school because he's unqualified. He doesn't know what it takes, and he's finding out. And he see how difficult it is. So he's like, man, the hell with that. I'm spending this bread because he know he can't deliver a school. He knows he can deliver a school. So hey, man, thank you. And I will say, man, he's about to all the money he got, chats. He's about to buy a home in Ghana. Peace. He did. Y'all didn't bought him his heaven. It costs. I wonder how much is a Ghanaian dollar. Let me find out. Which one I need? No. Okay. Okay. I want to see how rich he's going to be. Okay, so look at that. Look at that. Look at this. So $12, $13 in America is 200 Ghanaian dollars. So I wonder if I can manipulate this. No, I can't. Hey, wait. I wish I could wait. I'm gonna do the reverse. Okay, look at this. So he got about, let's say right now he got $250,000. This guy, he's a millionaire. So it's just more smart for him. He got dual citizenship. It's more smart for him to say, yo, F y'all. And F which I think I'm set up for life. I ain't got to pay child support over there. I ain't got to do nothing what y'all talking about. I'm gonna be a millionaire in Ghana. I got dual citizenship. I can come back when I want. Screw y'all. I don't gotta be a celebrity or a well-known person in the United States. I can just come to the United States when I need to, but my permanent residence is in Ghana. Screw what y'all talking about. It just makes more sense because he's not gonna deliver to school, and once everybody realizes that, he's out. He's out. Okay, $4 million, and that's just 250. That's assuming he spent most of the bread. But if he got that money, just 250,000. That's it. That's four beans. That's 4 mil in Ghana. That dude living like a real prince out there, and he could tell. And look, guess what? He ain't got to raise donations. He ain't got to deliver to school. He could just act like he just so important. Important. I'm the Prince of Pan African, and they would treat him like a celebrity because of the finances he has, and they don't know the backstory, and he'll be treated like a real prince over there. Okay, so now let's get into Math Hoffa. Now, what you see on the screen, on the left is a real picture of Math Hoffa. Okay, on the right is what he pretty much did to see inside the shop. Okay, so Math Hoffa, I'm gonna play a story for him. It is so everywhere. He sounds like Umar Johnson, basically. His story is everywhere. He's trying to explain why he failed, and it just exposes how stupid he is. It's like, dude, you could have just said nothing and just failed and let the internet just guess. Let it just guess what happened to your shop. He actually tells you what happened to the shop, and it just made him look like a complete buffoon. All right, so let's get to that. A complete buffoon. Sometimes, family, it's just better off not explaining yourself. When you know you did something dumb, sometimes it's better to not explain yourself. Okay. So let me find this for you. Yeah, I don't really know about the case and the track case, the stabbing. I didn't really look into that. Like a lot of times when there's be these black and white controversial things, I kind of like look into it always late. I'll let it die down because it's like so much stress and trauma. Yeah, I just try to stay away from it as much as I can, and then I'll look into it later. Especially that's better anyway because then more information is released. Because what they do in the media, the liberals is going to play it a certain way to us, and the conservatives going to play it a different way. They are both going to withhold facts. They're both going to cherry pick. They're both going to try to narrate the story to favor something, and we're just in the middle. Like they're playing ping pong, and we are the net. The ball is going over our head. Like our face is the net. They're playing ping pong, and we're watching the ball go over and over, and we're trying to see where did it stop. And that's what we don't believe. You dig? But that's why, man. I just relax like a real, journalist, a real researcher. I just sit back and just watch it before I give an opinion. Because all I can do is give you a surface opinion. Because there's so much, like, it's supposed to be video. See, so much stuff you haven't seen. So that's why I can't give you anything. I gotta let it play out a little bit. And you usually get the whole story in trial. Because now all the evidence is out. That's why I love trial. I love trial. And sometimes I don't even make an opinion until the trial is like, out. At the Diddy stuff, it's federal, so you're not gonna see a trial, but man, like I like to see the trial because now you get to see for yourself. Like, okay, you know, where it's not an emotional, it's not coming from an emotional state. All right, so I'm gonna play this nut. Pause. Math Hoffa, and you know what? Let me not make that mistake. It's gonna be commercials. All right, so I'm gonna get into Math Hoffa just making a fool of himself. So his show is called My Expert Opinion. So if you see the acronym meow, it threw me off at first. I never heard it. I never seen an acronym for it, So this right here. So when the meow was throwing me off, when I seen this, circulating my feeds, I'm like, what the hell is meow? And right, but then when I seen him put it there, I said, oh, that must be the acronym. So this is the acronym for My Expert Opinion. Now anybody who talked to me on a private phone call about this guy, I never liked the acronym. Like, dude, there's nothing about you that's expertise. It's like, what is an expert about you? So I always felt like the name of the show was pseudo. It's like, dude, when did you become an expert? It should have been like my humble opinion. But everybody want to be a genius, man. Like the Terrence Howards and these guys, man. Everybody want to be seen as a genius without being a genius. Without being a genius. So I never liked that. And then like he never gave an expert opinion. Obviously, he was trying to do like a Jerry Springer thing when Jerry Springer gave his final thoughts, and I don't think anybody ever like I think a lot of us stayed for the Jerry Springer final thoughts, but who the hell waited around for Math Hoffa final thoughts? All right. So anyway, let's go ahead and listen to this guy. Yeah, I never liked that. My expert. There's nothing about you that's an expert.
Been undercover. She could tongue.
Let me not play this garbage music if I get flagged. Okay, so let me see. Where did he start?
But I'm gonna break down to y'all a situation that I've been dealing with. I've been dealing with this for a little while, and now it's gotten to the point where we don't know what's going to happen with the shop. Just keeping it 100. Just keeping it 100. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, the math not mathing. The math not mathing, son. The math not mathing. But all of this stuff, like,
the shades. His eyes is probably like, I'm guessing, like at the shades. Either he was crying, which is not funny, or this dude got that white powder high. This dude got that white powder high. All right. But I will say, like, New Yorkers, they do dress like that. So when you see him, who else? Let me see. When you see Hassan Campbell, like, you saw Math in the background, like, that's not like, well, he's probably captain for like the interview. But most New Yorkers, or yeah, I'm gonna say most New Yorkers, man, that's how they dress. Like a damn mannequin, like a costume. Like they are matching. That hat matches every shoelace in their shoe. This is not cat. Like Hassan when I see that, I know, yeah, they definitely New Yorkers. Like they are very fashionable in New York, man. And that's how you can tell like a New Jerseyan from a New Yorker. Because if you're from the South or the West, you really can't unless we talk because they got that New York accent. But but the way they dress, like they try to match. If they wear a black and blue hat like Hassan, they got black and blue everywhere else. Black and blue wallet. Everything is like black and blue. Like they just OD with it. Everything is matching. Like we are New Jersey. We're more white tee. You know, we'll match maybe simple, be subtle. We'll have like a white tee with like some blue letters in it, some blue jean shorts, and maybe some ones that blue or something like that. Where they are loud. They are loud out in New York. And that's why like a lot of fashion, a lot of our fashion in Jersey come from New York because they be doing it. And we'll just cherry pick. Like New Yorkers are like the mannequin. They'll have everything on. In New Jersey, and what we'll do is we'll just pick we'll borrow from them. But we won't take the whole outfit. We'll say, okay, I like that hat. Or I like the shoes. But yeah, so New York definitely, I would say they inspire our fashion, but we don't take it all. Like we select certain things. So I'm in the South right now. I was going to the store. I had my son riding his bike to the store. So some weird old country dude kept looking at me. And he was like, "Yo, you from New York?" I'm like, "What the fuck?" So you know, it's just New Jersey, same thing. I was like, "Yeah, somewhere around there." He's like, "I can tell by the way you walk." I'm like, "Damn, we gotta walk." I'm trying to be low key. You know, I don't wear anything clearly. Like a lot of New York and New Jersey, when we leave and go down south or West Coast, we like to let everybody know like where we're from. Not me. I'm trying to be low key. Like, oh. Anyway, I just find that funny when I see them looking like this. This is exactly how they look. When you see Fat Joe, all that stuff, I'm telling you, that's how they look. It's FBA, it's the Spanish, it's the Caribbean. This is how they all look. Well, you know, the ones that are fly or try to be fly. This how they all look. Look, the pink shirt, the pink under the brim is the same color as the shirt. Like they be really ODing it. But they will make you look bad. If you try to be fly yourself, like from New Jersey or somewhere else, and you go to New York and link up with your New York friends, yeah, they're gonna make you look bad. Like they're gonna make your fit look terrible because they're gonna be way more flyer than you. You gotta hang with these guys to like know how to put it on. But if you try to get fly and meet New Yorkers, you're gonna look dumb. Like you're gonna be unfly. Cause they're gonna do the most. I'm surprised you ain't got pink contacts. Like they would go that far. All right, so let's listen to this story. I'm gonna come back to Hassan because he's gonna give his breakdown. I didn't know the backstory between Doggy Diamond and Math Hoffa. It's kind of deep. I didn't know Doggy Diamond was that plugged in with a Math Hoffa and Charleston White. Like interesting. I ain't gonna play the whole thing like an hour, but interesting information that Doggy Diamond got. But you know what? Let me play this real fast. So Adam 22 apparently broke the news that No Jumper is going broke. Not that he's going broke, just to show like they don't have the capital to pay people or keep the show running, pay for equipment, pay for whatever they do, studio time.
I know that might sound crazy. Between both of our YouTube channels last month, we got over.
Yeah, we on Boss Talk TV.
No Jumper is going broke. I know that might sound crazy. Between both of our YouTube channels last month, we got over 25 million views. We're doing well on Facebook and Snapchat. We employ quite a few of the hottest content creators on the West Coast, and we pump out an insane amount of content on a weekly basis. How could we be going broke?
So y'all can see this is the shop.
Okay, so this is the picture, right? So you see Matt Hoffa is in the shop with the flashlight. You right?
Been here in a while because we've been going through some things with the landlord. You can see the lights don't work. They cut the power on us.
Do it again.
We cut the power on us. None of the lights work. They cut the power, right?
Now this bathroom is janky, right? Look at this.
Bathroom. Well, water's still going. At least the water's still going.
I don't know, why would he think the water be off? Like, yo, that's New York. That's New Jersey. We have gas. Out here in the South, everything is electrical, even the water. So if your lights off, your water's off too. You can't even poop. But up north in Jersey, we operate on gas. You know, we got electricity and we got gas. So you could, anyway, like, yeah, so your water bill has nothing to do with your electricity in Jersey. So you can like be in the dark and have candles up. Like, I always do this. You know, a bad storm. We can use the stove still because it's gas, and we can use the bathroom. We can take a shower. We can do everything, just no lights. But out in the South, in some places like where I'm at, no, you don't pay your light bill. You ain't taking a shower. You ain't washing a dish. And you ain't using the bathroom, and you don't have lights. So it's kind of crazy like that. So so you definitely ain't gonna be without power. You know, negligently out here.
Spoke on this on the stream yesterday.
So that's just showing you what we're going to be looking at. Right. So I had some of this. This would probably be tomorrow. I got some Terrence Howard and this weird guy acting like the geniuses. God, the cosplaying is ridiculous. You know, this old press is making us crazy. What's the Ecclesiastes 7:7? Oh my God. All right. So let's get back to why he ain't got any lights and why the show is ending.
I keep it 100 with y'all, man. I keep it 100 with y'all. You know, I've talked about working like regular jobs and shit like that, but none of them shits ever lasted like a real long time. For the most part, the money that I made in the streets, or I made from battle rap, which was kind of like making it in the streets. You know what I'm saying? It took me a while before I figured out, okay, I got to do this, I got to do that, I got to do that. It was just, you know, getting the cash and busting moves. That was what I knew. You know what I mean? I didn't grow up in a household where, you know, my father was around to break down certain things. My mom's knew stuff. You know, my mom started to learn shit eventually, but it wasn't like it was being, it wasn't being shared. We weren't like, she wasn't like, yo, sit down, I learned about this today or whatever. So when the show became super successful, it was like a block clicking for me. You know what I mean? It was like a block clicking for me. And a lot of the deals and the situations that I got involved in weren't sound paperwork wise. Paperwork wise, it wasn't sound. It was more of like, you know, I trust you, we're going to do this. I trust you, we're going to.
Okay. So that part right there, when he said paperwork wise, it wasn't sound. Now, I'm looking at it, I don't know how he looks at it, but we're looking at like, yo, you're Math Hoffa. Like, you got a successful show, million views, you're getting all these attention. You know what I mean? You get all these celebrities on your show, all these guests. You got the locks on there. You know what I mean? You got Fat Joe, you got all these people in your show. Okay. I don't know how you don't understand the importance of contracts. So when he's telling this story and he's saying he is paying somebody else who did the contracts, but the person is not part of his business or organization. This is just somebody he knows who has a connection to a barbershop. And so this is basically, so the person is not part of the show at all. So this is just somebody you know who already has something and that they're running and they're gonna, and he calls it a sublease to him, but that's still fake because a sublease, like you got stuff still in your name. I subleased before. So you still got stuff in your name. Like you still sign a contract that the contract is to say, I'm subleasing. So even though you own it, I control it right now. Like this contract is giving me not ownership, but it's giving me control over it. Okay, so I get to control this, even though you own it, you don't have any say so or control over it for now, for this duration of time. So he's saying the word subleasing, but he's not doing that because he's not on any paperwork. Now, we didn't know that. And guess what? To be honest, we should not have known that. This is not something you disclose to the public because it's showing us how dumb you are. So you got this successful show, but that lets you know right then and there that he didn't believe the show would blow up. So he was on some janky shit from the door, and he believed that, he didn't have faith in himself. Because I'm telling you, people who really believe in themselves, the small stuff we see ourselves being millionaires. You know what I mean? That's just what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to start something small, but dream big. Like, okay, I plan on getting this over here, so I'm gonna make sure everything is sound. I'm not going to trust people because it's small now and it's all good. But once I blow up, they're going to want more. Clearly. Let's be clear here. So when he sat there and said the paperwork wasn't done, we're like, yo, dude, what the F you're talking about? Listen one more time.
Sound paper in the situation. It was like a block clicking for me. And a lot of the deals and the situations that I got involved in weren't sound paperwork wise. Paperwork wise, it wasn't sound. It was more of like, I trust you, we're going to do this. I trust you, we're going to do this. You know what I'm saying?
So, brother, there's no paperwork then. So saying paperwork isn't right, that's like you signing illegitimate documents that can't be held up in court. You dig? That's not good paperwork. That's not good. But you didn't sign anything. So it's not even good paperwork. I just trusted people to have good faith and stand by me, whatever. But don't say the word paperwork because you didn't deal with that. You trusted somebody to do something for you. And as he got bigger, right? So when he started small, and as the show grew and gained so much national attention, and even possibly international attention, but when it gained national attention, all these awards and people coming through, that was the time to realize your paperwork isn't good, and let me relocate. Okay, let me try to talk to this. First of all, you don't want to talk to your person just yet, because if they flip on you, you're still asked out, right? If you try to the thing they got over you is that you don't have paperwork. And the minute you try to talk your talk, they could just shut you down, kick you out, and now you are where you are right now. So what I would have done was shopped around first. Basically secure the spot or damn it, almost secure a spot. Where I got some leverage or I got somewhere to go. So then I go back to the person I did this no paperwork with and try to beat on the paperwork. And then if that person says no because they want to hold that over me, I'm like, okay, all right, no problem, cool. And I'll just act like it's all good, and then I'll make that other move to that other shop. Real simple. To me, real simple.
Saying not really forming contracts and all that. Like even the guys that not really forming contracts, we're gonna do this. I trust you. It wasn't sound. It was more of like, I trust you, we're gonna do this. I trust you, we're gonna do this. You know what I'm saying? Not really forming contracts and all that. Like even the guys that that I fired or whatever. And they go around complaining like little bitches and all that shit. But at the end of the
exactly what you're doing right now. So the guys he's talking about complaining like little biatches. Isn't that what he's doing right now? Isn't he complaining about no paperwork? But I bet you this. I bet you everybody he's so-called fired, I bet you they all Like they get it now. I bet you they all get it now. Oh, that's why I couldn't do this. So these people he fired, they were trying to get paperwork done with Math. And Matt wouldn't give him paperwork because he's too, in my opinion, in my expert opinion, I'm joking, but in my humble opinion, he was too stupid to understand paperwork. Okay, he's that person, he's that student, right? That was in a small class because he's supposed to be there because he doesn't learn well with large classes, right? He needs attention to learn, which is nothing wrong with that. He was that student. His mom talked to Umar Johnson, and he made her believe that her kid is being railroaded. He needs to be back into regular ed. And he took himself to regular ed, cosplaying like a regular ed kid, and didn't get anything, and was too embarrassed to raise his hand for extra help, and just became who he is now. Okay, a guy who can't do paperwork. So I think the guys who left his show are like, oh, that's why he couldn't get on paperwork. Because he wasn't on paperwork. Because they were trying to get like more security. You know what I mean? So they were trying to be secure. Okay, I'm giving up what I got going on to be part of this show. Okay, I want to have, again, everybody likes security. Okay, let me be in a position where he just can't let me go. If I'm putting most of my eggs in his basket, hey man, let's sign something so you saying gonna get mad at me one day and let me go. Because people realize he's a highly emotional guy. He reacts off emotions and not sound judgment. That's why a lot of his fights during rap battles were emotional 1 second decisions. He felt a certain way, he got emotional and hit somebody off guard. Every last fight he got into, they were all off guard hits. He didn't square with anybody. Because he makes important decisions in a split second. He don't take his time before he makes those decisions. If I sound too far away, that's because I am. So give me a second. I got the wrong iPad in my hand. I just noticed. Yeah, what is up with these damn cartoons? This rainbow flag all over them, man. All these cartoons with these rainbow flags, this shit like pissing me off. All right. Yeah, Dubs. Hey, Dubs. So Dubs. So I'm getting to that. I'm getting to the eviction, right? So he's not officially evicted because an eviction takes a process. You gotta go to court. You gotta do that. It takes a while to be evicted. As long as you don't do anything, you don't damage the property or be violent, where it can't get you out in an emergency eviction. But it's going to take some time. It could be 60 days, 30 days. It could be 3 months, 6 months. It depends. But he's doing commercial property, so maybe it's faster. I know residential, man, you could be in that crib for 6 months before they get you out. You dig? So yeah, so he is on course of being totally evicted. So you'll see. You can make your own assessment when I play the testimony.
The day, even the W9s and all that shit, like they stuck me with that. You know what I'm saying? All the bread that I was paying them, they stuck me with that. These motherfuckers they ain't telling you that they got paid. You think they telling the government? You think what I'm saying?
No.
So there's a lot of things that I had to learn in this process, just learning and learning and learning and learning. And this is another thing that I had to learn. This is another thing that I had to learn, unfortunately. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's why you can't go around calling yourself an expert, my boy. That's why it starts with home. It starts with yourself. Like you got to be humble. Like you got to be humble when you don't have the credentials, and not just really humble. I hate that word, but you have to just know what you're not. Okay, you don't have an expert opinion because you're not an expert at anything. If anything, you're an expert at failing. Failed battle rapper, failed this, failed hustler. Because he said he was in the streets, so you're a failed hustler. You're a battle rapper. You're a failed battle rapper. You try to go into being a real rapper, you failed at that, and now you got a podcast that has some success, and now you're failing at that. So you're an expert at failing. Like you can give us advice on if we're failing. Like, so if we got this idea, this grand idea, and we want to know where we're at, we can talk to you. You can let us know, hey, no, you're failing. Based upon the things that you're experiencing, you're failing. Like that part you can be an expert at. But this whole I'm an expert and here's my opinion, like, dude. And then we're finding out how dumb you are as far as business. This is just wild.
Fuck it. Let's just get to the video.
We back. This is a MEO exclusive.
And don't forget MEO exclusive. MEO is an acronym for my expert opinion. Now I didn't know this because I'm not like a Math Hoffa fan like that, but I realized this like maybe yesterday what MEO stood for. Math, or it could stand for math eviction on site. It did. That's what MEO could stand for. It's either my expert opinion or math eviction on site. It did, or outcome, math eviction outcome. But I'm telling you, listen, this ain't what you want to do. You don't want to. You could tell you again, like I'm not being comical right now. I'm not even getting on him. I'm giving you my real opinion, my real humble opinion. I'm not getting on a guy. He's human. He's going through something. I actually feel bad for him because I feel like he's been taken advantage of by people. Okay, it's one thing if he knows better and he got taken advantage of that I might clown, but I really don't believe he knew any better and people took advantage of him. Because I know friends like that's in this position. That's not like the brightest, but they think they are, and they get taken advantage of. So I don't. That's not cool. But I can tell that he doesn't have lawyers and he doesn't have publicists, people he really meet in his circle. The people who he had around him that he let go, those people I believe would have got him straight because they were actually in the industry. But I don't believe they knew this stuff right here. I don't believe they knew that he didn't have any paperwork. I think they would set him straight once he said that crazy shit to them. But when people like him that thinks, see what happens, it's an ego thing. I'm not gonna let you guys know I'm weak and vulnerable and don't know something because then I think my insecurity is gonna make me believe you won't respect me anymore. So I'm gonna act like I got it all together when I don't, and you could have helped me early on, but that's what happened. So the earlier crew would have set them straight. The earlier crew would have said, "Oh hell no!" Look, I'm telling you, the other crew, they are more in the business side of things. Like their stuff is straight. They ain't got to worry about this. They like because they all got their own channels, and they ain't got to worry about that. Like these folks are doing well. All right, so they would have had them straight. I really believe that he did not let them know because he wanted to pretend and cosplay that he got it. I got it. They're trying to give him advice, and he's sitting there saying, I got it. He's one of those guys. Yeah, so you understand? Yeah, I understand when he doesn't understand. See, I don't do that. I'm like, yo, the watcher, wait, when you say that, bro, say that again. Like make that make sense for me, because I'm not going to pretend I'm this damn professor that I just know everything. Nah, bro. Run that back turbo, because once I get it, I got it. I don't care how I got it. I got it now. We're equals on this now. We weren't prior, but now we are. So what I'm saying is a publicist or somebody in this corner would have been like, yo, don't make those videos. They're not going to make you look good. They're going to make you look incompetent and like a fool, like right now. So he's out there with a flashlight in his hand in a car. And I'm gonna tell you what I think. What I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna tell you right now what I believe. From watching this entire thing and watching his friends speak about him, this is what I believe. I believe that he made some dough from the shows and all his endeavors. I believe he made some money. I believe he spent the money recklessly, like most people do. Most people do when they come across large amounts of cash, and he didn't factor in the tax thing. Okay, so this is what I think happened. I think he spent a lot of money, and I believe he has or had some money in his account. I'm gonna give him like 1.5. I believe across all these years he spent a lot of money, and he had 1.5 in his account right now. I don't know this to be true. I'm just giving you what I think is happening. I think he got about 1.5 or maybe less, maybe 250,000. Right? Let's go with that. Let's go with he got $250,000 in his account right now. I believe he bought a house but he bought a car. He got some possessions, some liabilities. If he bought a house, one asset, and I don't believe he factored in taxes. So I believe that he got that damn mail that said IRS, and he opened it up, and I believe whatever he got in his account, he owed more than that. So let's say he got 1.5. I believe he got that mail, the IRS mail saying he owed 2.5. If he got 250,000 in the account, I believe he got that mail and he owed $350,000. I don't believe he did his taxes right based upon what I watched of this guy and heard his story and his friend's story. Now, they never said this. So I'm like filling the blanks. I believe he owed hella taxes. And that's why he ain't got a lawyer. Well, that's why he never had a lawyer. Like he never seen the importance of a lawyer and these real experts around him because he's the expert in the room. So I believe that that's his real issue that he's not saying. I believe he's being audited. He owed money, and it might even be the same amount. Let's say he has $250,000 liquid. I'm gonna say he owed 200,000. I'm gonna say whatever he owes is pretty much gonna wipe him to zero. And he has no, and this is his issue now. If he was to, make that balance zero, he's at zero now. I don't believe he has any idea, anything going on that can get him back that money in 1 year. So whatever he owes, in my mind, whatever he owes, if he paid off and break even, I believe that's going to wipe him clean. And I believe he don't have any ideas how to, whatever he can do to make fast money back. Because he's never like really been like a hustler like that. He's never been like a Damon Dash type of guy. So I don't believe he could. There's nothing he can do. He burned bridges. He beefed with everybody. So I think he just in that position. That's just my opinion. But we'll see soon. Okay? That's just what I think. Because none of this shit makes sense to me. So in my mind, when things doesn't make sense, I got to make it make sense. So what made sense to me is that he owes the IRS some hella bread and it's going to wipe him clean.
Exclusive.
I was inspired to do this. Shout out to Adam. I've seen Adam talking about his financial situation over there and what's going on. I do feel like.
Okay, so he said Adam 22. Adam 22 ain't talking about his financial situation, man. You misread him. He said No Jumper is going broke, not himself. Okay, No Jumper is a real business that's tied to paperwork, and that real business has money, it has an account, and it can't pay everybody, and it can't pay everybody, and it cannot sustain itself anymore. There's not enough money in that business account, man. He's not going through the money problem. He got money. His business it can't pay everybody. You dig? So he got to close. That's smart. You got to close. That's what happened with 50 Cent with his SMS boxing things. 50 is broke, and Donald Trump bankruptcy. That doesn't mean they're broke. They're filing bankruptcies on businesses. This business can no longer sustain itself. So they file bankruptcy on the business. And there's different type of bankruptcies. So I think Donald Trump, when he did it, I think he did a chapter 7. And that's different than a chapter 13. Chapter 13 means that you dissolve the whole business. It's over. I think in chapter 7, you don't do that. Like you just make payments. You file bankruptcy so they can stop chasing after you for bills and things like that. And you make payments. So you keep the business, you just make payments. Like you're in the red, you make payments. You pay it off, and you get, then you're back operational. You're back operational. So Adam's not broke, or he didn't say he was broke. He didn't. That's not what he said. He could be broke, but he did. That was not his message. His message was not I'm broke. His message is the business is broke.
There is like a war or some sort of war on podcasts right now, because I know you guys probably been wondering, yo, you guys are not dropping.
Okay, so again, he's reading the room wrong, brother. Adam's message was nothing about war on podcasts, my boy, and neither is your problem. Both of y'all problems have nothing about people attacking podcasts. Adam 22, that's an internal problem. So basically, let me just add this in there. All of these podcasts, because Joe Budden broke it down. All of these, even Adam admitted it. All of these podcasts got popping, really popping during COVID-19. All of them, because everybody was home, so everybody thought they're just so great. That's why I'm mad that I stopped doing it, because I would have been, better than I am now. I won't say on their level, but better than what I am now. But I stopped doing it. I started going outside, playing basketball, having fun in my life, not stuck in a damn room talking on the damn. Anyway, yeah, so they all became popping during COVID-19 as people slowly got back out there and got comfortable with leaving their house and having their best life. People stopped tuning in to podcasts as much. That's just what happened. So now their numbers now that they're having, these are all their regular numbers. So COVID-19 inflated their numbers because it forced everybody home. We're home all day. What are we doing? We're watching podcasts. We're bored. So their real numbers are showing. So even though they got 1 million subscribers, half of them subscribe only because of COVID-19. They're bored. They're not coming back. So now COVID-19 is far removed. We're some years, not far, but we're some years removed. People are back to doing what they would normally do. Okay? So they're not really a subscriber. They only subscribed during the pandemic. But now they're back living their best life. They're not a real subscriber. So these guys are looking at subscriptions and they're thinking like, hey, I'm the man. And that's why we say it's not your subscriptions. It's not that. What makes you who you are your likes. That's why, hey, like my video. I don't care if it's 13 likes. If I got 13 live viewers, I want 13 likes. If I got 28 live viewers, I want 28 likes, because that's what you need. It's the likes. The likes will get you out there, because when people like your content, YouTube algorithm say, hey, somebody like this. So a similar title, they're going to put mine out there with theirs, with other videos out there, because it's liked. So likes and of course, views. Math Hoffa has 1 million subscribers. Okay. Now look at the views on this video. This is good. So he has 122,000 views. That's good, right? But it wasn't like that yesterday. But that's good. But listen why they're viewing it, because it's drama and he's talking about his failures. That usually, when you crash out, that's when you get your most views. That's why most guys, they crash out on camera. They do red rum, live Facebook, and they get all these views. They run in front of police, big U, about to turn himself in. Like, you'll get your most views when you're crashing out. But that's not his regular viewership. That's good. So like 122,000 and you got 1 million subscribers, that's actually good. Like that's the real numbers. But he doesn't average that. No, that's not his average. Okay. But because he's talking about his shop, some drama stuff, people are tuning in to get the latest tea. Like myself. I don't watch his stuff. Look, I'm not look at this. I'm not even subscribed. I don't watch his content.
Like you were before, and you know, MEO's been going through its ups and downs, and I was real hesitant on whether to share certain things with you guys.
Elevation, Allah said, if I was in the podcast space, I'd probably follow the Walls, I guess you said Wallow and Gilly model because they got a bag despite the algorithm being against them. Yeah, bruh, it's real easy. All you gotta do is talk to people, build relationships. A lot of these guys game each other up, believe it or not. Behind the scenes, these podcasters talk. Wallow and Gilly, they talk to this person. And as long as they don't burn bridges, they talk to each other and they game each other up. Hey, man, try this out. Hey, that's what they do. They're not going to game me, but they're going to game each other. Like you know, it's good for both of them. It's good for both of them. But you don't really want beef when you're like, you know, have that much success. You don't want beef. You want to keep bridges with other people as successful as yourself. Not because what happens is when you have beef as a successful broadcaster, you're making the audience pick and choose. Now, if you don't have beef, guess what? Elevation, you're gonna watch Wallow and Gilly, and you're gonna watch Math Hoffa. You're gonna watch both of them. But if they're beefing, you're gonna choose one now. You're gonna say, okay, that's what happened with Pac and Biggie. You had to choose, and you know, it's less money. So if you don't, so you got to choose, and it's like, okay, I'm gonna rock with Wallow and Gilly. I don't rock with Math like that, or vice versa. So that's why podcasters they like to get along. They rather not beef. At least the smart ones.
But fuck it. Let's all just keep it real, right? Okay, so here it is. Here it is. Let's rewind like maybe 2.
All right. So now as you can see, that's where I got my screenshot from. This guy is in his barbershop. He's in my expert opinion podcast barbershop with no lights. Listen to this foolishness.
2-3 years ago, I acquired
Oh, thanks for the lights. Nah, I ain't gonna lie. Hey, listen, what people, I call y'all supporters because y'all support me. Y'all family, but y'all also support me. Because you can have family who don't support you. And you'll see that on Facebook. Facebook people talk about their family not supporting, you know, them. You might be getting married, you might be graduating college, and they're not there, right? But if you just come home from prison, they'll all be there. So people talk about relatives not supporting. So bigger than family, I could say, hey, family, but that don't mean you support. So supporters, that's what matters. So what I'm gonna say is this: you guys definitely like the video. Like a lot of times, I forget to say it, and I look at the video later. It delights me there. So you guys definitely. Before I got suspended for those 3 weeks, for almost like a month, when I was in the algorithm and the channel was popping, it was due to y'all. Like I ain't never see like still now like it's rare that people get as many likes as they get views, and 30 is not a lot. But even when I had the 270 likes, I mean, when I had a podcast where I had 270 live viewers, I had 270 likes. You dig? So people come over here, they really appreciate the authenticity of the channel. You dig? Because I don't even got to say like it. People come in, they press like. I'm like, all right, I respect that.
The way that I acquired it wasn't, you know, me buying it or anything like that. I met the landlord, and unfortunately, you know, So
again, I'm not clowning Math Hoffa right now. Maybe a next live I will, but right now, I feel for the guy. I feel for the guy because I believe he doesn't know what he's doing. He's not transparent with his inner circle because he believes he's going to be vulnerable. You know that's something men deal with a lot. They don't want to be transparent because they think they'll be seen as vulnerable and weak, so that they'll like band-aid their issues. So I believe that's what he did. Okay, and as a result, people are taking advantage of him, and this is case in point. Case in point.
people are not
Crazy.
They're not, what's the word? They're racist.
Oh, okay.
They're
There you
racist.
go.
So I actually, to be honest, before the tether babble, I actually thought his content was pretty good. Yeah, I'm just keep it real. I thought he was pretty good. But he said they're racist.
Some people are, what's the word? They're racist.
Oh, okay.
They're
There you
racist.
go.
Some people are racist. I was
Okay, so that part he should have said is like, dude, what does that got to do with your lights being off, my boy? Like, there's no racism, and your lights getting cut off, man. Your lights got cut off because the bill wasn't paid, and that's why I believe he's in tax problems. It's like, yo, how you can't pay a light bill? How you can't pay a light bill? I just don't. For somebody who's supposed to be rich, like you see a shoppish. So that's what's happening. Family support my family, which is also my supporters. The shop is closed because the lights are off. Obviously, they can't have a podcast in the dark, right? But from what I watched, the podcast is over because of a light bill that nobody's paying. Listen,
Trying to figure out how to say it without, like, you know what I mean? Like, maybe some people are not enlightened to, you know what I mean? But this dude, like, nah, he's fucking racist. He's fucking.
he's not racist, my boy. You know who's racist? Fat Joe. But you know, you didn't see that. Fat Joe's racist, but you couldn't admit that you didn't see it. But now you calling your who is a racist? Because you're not on paperwork. So I'm kind of confused. Like, how is the landlord a racist when you're not on paperwork? He don't even got to talk to you. That's like that's like you own a barbershop. No, you're renting your building, and the person you're renting from, they own a barbershop, and they have a customer in the seat, and the customer's asking you questions about the building. You're like, yo, man, mind your business. Like, I ain't gotta answer your questions. Like, you're not tied to this building at all. Like, no, you're not. No, mind your business. So he's calling the landlord a racist, but the racists don't. Who are you to him? You're not on any paperwork. You're just doing shows in his building, and he looking like he wondering how that's even legal.
Racist. This motherfucker asked me if I wholesale cocaine. Like what?
Okay, bro, you just said earlier you did the street thing. You just said you did the street thing. And he's not ashamed of it. Like he gloats about it. So and you got dudes coming out the shop all type of night. And don't forget, you're not on paperwork, so he doesn't know what you're actually doing. He just see a bunch of cronies out there coming in and out the barbershop with hella jewelry and fly clothes on. Yeah, like he thinking like, yo, what's really going on?
To my face, like, you know.
Yeah, that's not a racist. A racist don't ask a guy who looks like a drug dealer, a guy who admitted he sold drugs, does he still sell drugs? That's not a racist, my boy. Like he's just out of tune with life.
I'm gonna have to see your business records and all that to make sure that you don't wholesale cocaine. I laughed, but I wanted to slap the dog shit out that nigga. I wanted to slap the dog shit out that nigga. First,
and I believe him because he reacts off emotions. He can't, he needs therapy for real, and he has a bunch of yes people in his circle. So, if Elevation Allah said, "I'm calling ICE right now." Where's Math at? He's back in that goddamn shop, in the dark. That's where he's at, like a damn rat, like a New York rat. Okay, so a lot of Black immigrants, or anchors, whatever, because you're not technically an immigrant if you're born here. So, but I would say a lot of non-FBA Black people because they don't have a shared history legacy. They really don't understand racism, even though they experience it. They still can't differentiate when it's when it's racism, right, happening to them, or if they're just being treated unfairly. Just because something doesn't go your way doesn't mean it's always an act of racism. So like they don't really understand like what is truly racism. What does the system want to block you out of? Like they don't really get that because they don't know what the system like. The system is designed to do something. This racist system is designed to do something negative towards FBAs, and you have to know what were those things historically, because other things is going to be caught in that net, but that's not really what they want. They want certain things. They don't want land ownership from us. So to stop land ownership, you have to do what? You have to keep us broke and deny loans. So those things, so those avenues. So how can you keep us broke? That's jobs, right? Don't employ them. So you got job discrimination. So the employment industry is in cahoots with systemic racism. And then who can loan us money? Banks, right? So the banks got to be in that pot. So now there's other things that might happen to you that's, as a result, but that's not really intended. Over policing, pulling you over, making you feel a certain way, less than terrorizing you. Like that's like a Klan tactic. So over policing is like a Klan tactic, but the over policing is justified to a degree because there's a lot of crime. So we don't. So like you could think about the Black Panthers, like they were being over policed for no reason. There wasn't a lot of crime like that going on and over there or anywhere. Like we were not focused on crime. We were focused on equal rights and employment. So that's the real definition of over policing. Like today, they can justify the over policing by saying, "Hey, it's over, criminal activity going on." So that's why like we gotta really, really come out of like that stuff, the street life that he's glorifying. Like we gotta leave that alone, and then we can really point at the over policing. But right now, we look like fools trying to point it out because there's so much criminal activity exclusively coming from our neighborhoods. So it's so that like they'll justify like, hey, look at this, look at the drug selling and drug dealing and drug addicts and robberies and murderers, So, but a lot of people don't understand what racism actually is. Even white people, like the common white person, don't understand like some of the stuff they're doing or practices that's actually racism. They don't know. Like you got to tell them, and then some don't care. Like, oh well, and some will be like, oh wow, I didn't realize I was offending or undermining. Yeah, he's always wanting to punch somebody in the face, but again, he never wants to squabble up though. Okay, so it's one thing where you want to squabble up. Like we seen Whack 100 beat up two guys at the same time. That's a squabble up. They didn't sneak him, he didn't sneak them. And I'm not against sneaking, by the way. I'm not against sucker punching. I think sucker punching is sometimes necessary. Okay, you got to eliminate, and it's really used for eliminating a threat or eliminating disrespect. Because I believe if you're a threat to me, it shouldn't be an even fight. Or if you're disrespecting me, it shouldn't be an even fight. I got to neutralize you both ways. So I am pro sucker punching because that's sometimes just needed. I'm not going to squabble up when you're at 100% fault. But his sucker punching, I think one he did that was like fair, like his first one, but the other ones were it was just an emotional, disturbed person. When he hit Sirius Jones, like that was like totally uncalled for. But even those days, like the battle rap scene, like knew he was full of shit. Like people already was backing away from like this guy's weak. Then he'll run. He'll sucker punch you and run.
First of all, I don't do that no more. I changed my life. I don't do that no more. You know what I'm saying? But
See, so how you gonna make light of your history? Like that's what a background check is for, my boy. When you get pulled over by police officers and they run your name and it shows ex coke dealer, they're gonna want to search your car. You did like that. But you should know that. That's why your car should be squeaky clean. They don't have tint on there because your background is going to tell a different story. You're living a changed life, allegedly, but your background is going to tell a different story. So you want to have a clean car, right? So when you get pulled over, no, you can't search my car, but you can just roll your windows down and show that it doesn't smell like marijuana, because that's some states cops can't search you for that reason, and some states can. So check with your state. Like, be smart about some of the reasons a cop could pull you over, so you won't give them that. Right? You got to be smart. So if you're in a state where smoking marijuana is illegal, still is not decriminalized, then you might want to not smell like marijuana when you leave your crib. So anyway, like, have a clean car. I'm talking about folks who got the background that will raise alarms to police officers. You want to have a clean car. And when they pull you over, you give them your license registration. Don't be asking what I did. Give them license registration, and then roll all your windows down so they can put their flashlight on there. Okay, and when they see a clean ass car, first of all, the way you're cooperating, like, that's going to disarm them. They're not going to want to just search you now, because they know it's going to come up with nothing. And they got to document these searches. You dig? It makes them look bad. So you're cooperating. You rolled your windows down. It does not smell like weed, you dig, or anything else, crack. And crack does have a smell. Like, when it's being smoked, it definitely has a smell. All right, when it's being smoked, that shit worse than marijuana. Anyway, they'll put the flashlight in there. All right, man, I pulled you over because you were swerving your lanes. Oh yeah, I swerved my lanes. I was actually about to head to this coffee spot. I was trying to get my wallet out in advance, and I fumbled it. So, I'm straight, officer. I apologize for that. Traffic infraction, and it's whatever. That's what happened. All right, sir. At that point, you'll either get a ticket or you won't. But now your background won't be used to further, discriminate against you. You did, like, you're so cooperative that he's like, all right, okay, go ahead. Like, you know what I mean? But if you go there all tensed up and, officer, well, I'm pulled over, yeah, you're gonna be on the side of the road while that dog go through your damn car. So anyway, let's get some chats here. Okay, let me catch up on the chats, because I like to do that. No one watches Musty Math. Yeah, apparently, like, that's what's happening. Honestly, I watched plenty of Math Hoffa interviews. He was cool until he was a big one. Yeah, I'm telling you, like, his interviews, they're pretty good. They were better with his older cast, because they wasn't like glazing as much as newer cast, like, with like kind of like fans over these celebrities. And that turns out I had never heard of Math Hoffa till Fat Joe interview, and I immediately said he had tethered because he didn't challenge not one thing. Yeah, I'm telling you, Fat Joe on other podcasts, like, I ain't saying they would have punked him, but they would have lightly said something like, "Oh, Fat Joe, you wild, chill out, man. You're gonna get us, like, they would have, asked some humor to it, whatever, but they would have lightly checked them, if not just checked. Because people want Fat Joe is a celebrity. People want him on their show for content. You don't want to ruin that, and So, but yeah, other podcasts, he would have been like, he wouldn't have been on. And I'm not, like I said, they're not going to punk him, but I don't believe he would have went on, even like Joe Budden, the Breakfast Club, saying nigga, nigga, nigga. Like, again, like, they would have used light humor, but they would have certainly addressed the obsessive usage of the N word. Okay. And you know he won't do that on Willie D. And there's other channels you know for sure he wouldn't even got far. So like he really felt comfortable on Math Hoffa podcast to say we want to say, obsessive or not, he knew he had the green light, and they were all glazing him. Anyway, he was an African landlord. Oh, really? Oh man, how the hell an African landlord racist? Well, he ain't cool no more. He exposed himself. That'd be a defense unit. In the beginning, Matt said that he was subleasing the space and that person wasn't paying the bill after Matt gave them the money. Sounds like Telebabble. Yeah, so he did say it, but he was not subleasing. Like he's using the terminology, but he didn't. Like I said, I sublease, and a sublease is a real contract. I could hold you. So basically, this is what it is. If you don't know what a sublease is, that means that the person who's actually doing the renting, okay, sometimes they don't really find usage or value in the space they're renting, but they're locked in a contract. And people even sublease apartments, because that's what I did. I sublease apartment. So, but as a condo. So people rent it themselves, but don't really find value in it anymore, or don't find usage, or the purpose of subleasing was, the purpose of renting sometimes was the sublease. The sublease was the finesse. Like, yeah, I'll be the renter, I'll sign, but I'm not using this. I'm going to rent it out to other folks and charge my upper, inflated price. So Math didn't do that. Math didn't. But there's a real contract. So a renter would say, "I'm biased, yo. I'm renting this space, but you can rent it from me. Here's a contract." Now the landlord don't know anything about that. The landlord could say, "Hey, man," the landlord could say to the renter, "Hey, there's no subleasing here. Yeah, you broke. You violated the terms and conditions. You gotta get out." Now your contract is voided too. So like you got to make sure it's cool with the landlord somehow. But that's what happens. You rent it, but then you rent it to me. So let's say if you're paying $900 a month, I want to rent it for you. You might go up to $1,200. So you'll make a $300 profit monthly on the spot that you're renting. That's what subleasing is. Math was not subleasing. He didn't do any paperwork. He was doing dirty business, and that's why he's in the dark.
For you, like to just
Math looks like Caribbean drug dealer from a Steven Seagal. He's going to prison. He's conducting criminal-minded type business when probably didn't even have to do. Yeah, exactly, Nat. Yeah, but like that's that keep around from the street type shit. Do I think he gonna bounce like with the shop? Well, the shop is done. But he started to do his own little lives. So all he got to do is be remotely close, as successful as the barbershop was in his personal lives, and he ain't going back. But if his personal lives, that shop is done. But that don't mean they can't get another shop. But I don't listen. I think he's broke. So it should be not like, what's the big deal of a shop having no light? If you're rich, if you got dough, rent another shop. Like, what's the big deal? It ain't like you take walk-ins. All of your shows are invitations only. So it don't matter where your shop is. So like location is not important. In a real business where you take walk-ins, yeah, location is important. But he does not take walk-ins. So it don't matter where the shop could be anywhere. So the fact that he's making this a big deal, that's what confused me. Like, why is he confused about this location? You could start any shop. Like, again, I have so many friends that's in New Jersey that own barbershops that look very nice. And they moved. They was in this location. He was in East Orange. He moved to this part of Orange. And this dude had this, I was with my boy at this shop in the city that he moved. He had like 3-4 different shops before he finally settled in. DJ Focus went from a shop. He only had 2 shops. He had a shop with his dad and brothers, and now he got a big shop in Pennsylvania. So like moving to shop, that's like normal. in that industry. So for him to make it a big deal, I'm like, yo, there's something more here. And I'm thinking one of the issues is his finances.
Just to feel that comfortable that you could say some shit like, come on, son. Come on, son. That shit was whack.
Now, he don't look real fashionable there, does he? Math is violent because he has a low literacy rate. Facts. Like people who are very, very violent usually are not that smart. And he don't even come off as a threat like that. Exactly. Math is not squeaky clean. Call ice is BS when people like Math talks someone else's name. Guess where he's got. Yeah, exactly. Where his money at? 7Gs. Yeah, exactly. I'm trying to. It's not making sense, man. It's not. The light. He said the light bill 7Gs. He'll get to that, and how that even got to 7Gs is like ridiculous. But 7Gs is. You should be mad. You should be mad. But if you got $1 million, you can cover that. But you're gonna get rid of the person who was responsible for that. Because if that shot means that much too, like he's claiming it does, you'll pay the 7Gs, but you'll get rid of the person who you believe caused that to happen.
That shit was whack. And when I first met the landlord, he asked me if I was wholesaling cocaine. Forgot I said that. So
he was dead serious.
He was dead serious. He was dead serious, and despite him seeing people like Robert F. Kennedy and all.
Yes, he was dead serious because he wanted to know if you wholesaling cocaine, he knows that he's getting his rent. Okay, now if you're dime bagging, he's like, nah, bro, you can't rent here. You do. So he want to know if you wholesaling keys, bro. Okay, we can do something. But if you nickel and diming on a corner, nah, I'm good. So he wanted that insurance. Like, yo, let me know you making some real bread, and I can work with you. But even then, like, why is the landlord talking to you? You're not on the lease. So he's talking to you because you're not on the lease. Okay, Matt, you're having this conversation because you're not on the lease, but you're doing business in the shop. So he wants to know, what are you doing in the shop? Why are you here? You're not on the lease. And why are you doing business here? And what type of business are you doing? Just be honest with me. Are you wholesaling coke? Because don't that make sense to a landlord? If I'm renting a space to somebody else, because this happens all the time. Don't drug dealers get the car in their girl's name, their mother's name? This happens all the time. They rent an apartment in their girlfriend's name because they don't have the credit. They don't, and their background is shots. So their background and credit is going to discriminate them from getting the apartment or whatever they got to get. It's going to discriminate. So a lot of people that's like in the drug game, they usually have nothing in their name. So the landlord is hip to that. He's like, yo, man, what's going on here, bro? Something's going on. I see cars out here. I see, what's going on here, man? Just be real. Are you selling cocaine? Just be real. That's a fair question.
All these people pull up. There's always been some sort of pushback. There's always been like
yeah, he got his name from a federal informant. Put that in the chat. I want to read that because the Math Hoffa, I don't know where that shit comes from.
Like an issue, or even up to recently when we've been going through all this stuff, I called him and he pretty much brushed me off. So he's never been interested in actually doing business with me. But because we started here, I felt like it was important to have this shop. So I entered into a situation where I subleased from the person who had it before, right? Now, with this person, and then don't say no names.
I'm not. I said.
So he said the name sublease, right? He said sublease, but then he's going to explain that he didn't sublease. He just trusted them. So he said, don't say no name. She didn't say nothing about a name. So he's like really just trigger happy right now.
Be careful. Yeah. Well, what'd you say?
But this person,
she's telling him be careful, and he tell her, look, I'm gonna go back. Look how weird he is. He's talking, running his mouth. She tells him, be careful, like what you're saying. And he tells her, don't say any names. It's like, dude, she's telling you not to do that. Like y'all not in sync at all.
Where I subleased from the person who had it before, right? Now, with this person, you know, and then don't say no names.
I'm not. I said be careful with what you say.
With this person,
look, this guy, he just wants to be violent. Yeah, she like, I'm not. I'm telling you to be careful, and you want to smack me.
You know what started off and seemed like a good situation. After time, it just became, you know, not good. You know, when you think somebody's like looking out and doing you a favor, that's what it felt like in the beginning. So after a while, I realized, like, oh, hold on. Certain shit just, like, even the impression that the landlord had about me.
Yeah.
Where that came from?
Yeah.
Came from you. It came from you. You should not be in a building and you're not in contract with the landlord, my boy. Like, that is not a smart thing to put yourself into. That's not a smart situation.
Where did that come from? And then later on, I'm learning, like, you were supposed
Jimmy
to
Hoffa.
hold the lease for a certain amount of time, so you couldn't really shift all that. You was going to owe money. And this guy, you know, slumlord, he was definitely going to penalize it. Ain't no way he was going to be like, you know what, you can have the money or whatever. Nah, that nigga was going to penalize it. So it was probably in her best interest for me to do it through her.
Yeah.
So now I'm paying her.
You see? So he made up an excuse why he shouldn't do legitimate business. Right. And he'll rather do illegitimate business, and now he's paying her. Like, bro, this is what happens. There's an old saying: those who try to get over it get screwed. You cut corners, you get cut.
The good faith of thinking she's paying him.
You see? So look at that. This is now, what sublease is that? So I'm subleasing. Well, that is the downside of subleasing, man, because they may not look like he said it right. He's paying her and she has to pay him. Okay. So she's like the middle person. But she can easily not pay. So she could realize, listen, I got dual citizenship in Ghana. You know, $12 American dollars is 200 in Ghana. 15 grand goes a long way in Ghana. Let me just pocket this dough Math's giving me. Let me go live in Ghana for a couple of years. Get my mind right. That can happen when you're subleasing. So when you have a big podcast, like My Expert Opinion, like when it grew to the level it grew, those were signs that we cannot be subleasing. What I got going on is too important to be subleasing. That was his sign right there. But he got rid of all his genuine friends who would have told him that. But he never disclosed to them. I don't believe he disclosed to them all of this shady business in the dark. I believe he flexed on them like he had it all covered because he thought he did. He thought he could just pay her. She paid the landlord. I got this. And he knew that his earlier crew would have been like, yo, that ain't good business. But people like Math Hoffa, they be insecure when they have smart friends around them because they'll see themselves lower than the smart friends. So let me keep a bunch of dummies or yes men around and I can feel more secure about myself. See, Math Hoffa is all about how he feels. It could be wrong as hell, but if he feels good, he's going with it.
And she's taking care of all the shit. Well, y'all see, hold on. And I would get these.
Now, whether you subleasing or not, what does the light bill got to do with that? The light bill is still in your name. Now that was wild. So subleasing is one thing, but that doesn't mean the gas and light bill is in that person's name. That's in your name. You ain't gonna run up their gas and light bill and not pay rent. So that part right there, man. The light bill part is what like really all this right here. I'm following him. I'm following the subleasing. I think he's an idiot, but I'm following. Where he lost me is when he did the light bill explanation. Why he's in the dark right now. What's that show, Dark and Afraid? What is that show called? That's what that looks like right now. Some Blair Witch Project.
These bills for things that didn't make sense, right? Mm-hmm. Here's the kicker. So I got a bill one time for electric. Mm-hmm. And I looked at it and I was like, this is impossible.
Bruh. The fucking...
So now this ain't gonna make sense. So I want you to keep in mind what he's saying. And he's saying he got the bill, right? So if he got the bill, that means the electric bill is in his name. It goes to him. You dig? Okay, so just document that in your brain cells. The electric bill went to him, so apparently it's in his name. All right.
An electric bill was like $7,000. And I'm gonna
for $1 million.
Like 10 episodes last month. So we only been in the shop 2 times this month. Right? I'm gonna come back to that. The landlord always had an issue with us not being here.
Right. Not turning.
Like, not being like not running the shop or whatever, not making.
Yo, so this nigga used to be mad like, why y'all not in the shop? Every time I come here, the shop is closed.
Yeah, that is normal. I don't know how it is anywhere else in the country, but up north, that's normal. For you to rent a space for business and you're not in there doing business. That is normal for the landlord to get on you. Like, yo, man, what's going on? I'm saying, again, this might be normal where you guys are from. I'm sorry, yeah, it might be normal where you guys are from as well. But up here, like, they want you to have money. They want this rent being paid. Okay, they don't want any excuse. You talking about you ain't got your rent money. So they want, but if I'm telling you, if you rent a barbershop, a space to do a barbershop, and when that landlord come past there and he see that damn light off, they are going to say something. They don't care if you're giving the rent on time every month. They're going to say something like, yo, what's up? Like what's going on with the shop? Because they look at that as you're potentially not going to be, renting. You're going to leave soon. So they want to be, hip to that. So they can put the memo out. Hey, man, we're renting. That's just normal, man. You're not in the shop and you're paying to use it. Yeah, anybody's gonna say, hey, yo, what's up? What's going on with this? It looks like you're trying to like run off. You dig? And not pay me my bread. Yeah, so there's nothing wrong with him by saying, hey, man, what's up, man? There's no business here for the whole month.
Mostly we would shoot at night until we started shooting like during the day or whatever, blah, blah, blah. But the shop would be shut down if we not shooting if we knocked out 4 episodes in 1 week, right? That's 2 weeks worth of work.
Which is nothing. And like the podcast thing, you want to have, hey, listen, like this guy just want to smoke and just kick his feet up like he got it good. Dude, you got it bad like Usher. You got to act like you got it bad like Usher. You should have close to 6 months worth of content, not 2 weeks. Then you could really kick your feet up. You want about 6 months worth of content. You know, like a sitcom. You know, sitcom. Like they make us believe these are live shows, but they are pre-recorded. Yeah. So the 2 weeks, bro. That's not it. That is not it.
So we might not have to shoot until maybe the end of next week.
That's
But if
dumb.
we knocked out like 8 episodes in 1 week, we out for the month.
You shouldn't be.
We be going for the month, and this nigga would be complaining that the shop is not open. I'm like, how?
Yeah, the dude got the shop closed for a month, and he thinks the owner shouldn't be suspicious. That's why he thinks you're a coke dealer, because this is the first time he ever experienced this in his 40, he's probably 90 years old, in his 40, 50 years of business. He never experienced somebody renting a commercial space for him and don't be in there. The owner like, yo, who got money like that? Who got money to rent a commercial space, which is more money than residential, and then don't show up for a whole month to operate business? Like, how is he getting his money to pay me? That's what's going on in his mind. So he G checks you.
Why are you complaining? And then trying to play the, oh, I think they're doing something illegal. What you mean we doing something illegal? Good, yo, why is the barbershop not, why is it never open? Pay attention, y'all. Pay attention to why. Now
Oh,
I found out why this nigga kept saying that. Chat, what you think? What y'all think it was?
He thinks you're a coke dealer, bro. He told you. We don't got to think. Okay? We don't got to think what it was. The reason we know what it was. You told her that he thinks you're a coke dealer, bro. That's why he's asking you to be in a shop so you can sell less drugs.
Bro, we stopped with the barber shit. For one, there was a couple occasions where, a guest would move the time, and I didn't like telling the barbers that they couldn't, you had an appointment, you got to cancel that and da da da. I didn't like doing that. But the thing that really fucked me up is the barbers would have their friends in the shop, and their friends would be sitting in the barber chairs, fucking them up. I don't know what these niggas was doing with these chairs. I don't know what they was doing with the chairs. We walked in one day to shoot an episode. Mac sat in this chair and the shit just fell over. Nigga almost broke his neck.
So I don't know how people knows how the barbershop thing works in the East Coast. It's actually illegal, but this is what they do. So what they'll do is they'll have you rent a chair. So listen, nothing he's saying is making sense. So if I was a barber and I ran a barbershop business, right? Or if some people don't even cut hair. People like rent they sublease. They rent the space, they put the chairs in there, and they rent it out to barbers. That's some people finesse. Anyway, every chair is rented to that barber who cuts in that chair. So let me get some names. Let's say if I got 3 chairs, Nat Turner cut hair, MC Fact cut hair, and Elevation cut hair. Okay. Well, I'm going to charge each one of you $250 for the month. Right. So all y'all gotta have my $250 monthly. Monthly, I want $250. So what is that? What's that? $750? I'm gonna get for you 3 guys. So that's paying a good portion of the rent. Okay. And then whatever I do to make money, I cover the other. But that's a hell of a discount on rent already. So that's what normally happens. So why would Math, and I know Math is charging more than $250 because it's New York for one. It's my expert opinion shop. So that adds more value. People want to go to that shop because it's tied to the show. It's become a legendary shop. So that's more money to cut here. So let's say $350. So why would Math? So he claims these guys are messing the chairs up, which sounds stupid, but you could easily have them pay for that. So like you tag that on to their rented chair fee. $100 more until it's covered, $50, whatever. But that's not making sense. A guy who needs money to pay the light bill, that's not making sense that he'll get rid of the barbers who could have paid the light bill collectively from renting those shares.
And nobody ain't say nothing. Nobody ain't say, yo, one of the chairs broke, this, that, and the third. We would just walk in and be like, yo, what the fuck happened to the chair? So after a while, I was like, man, fuck that. Get the barbers out of here, because I don't know what they doing.
Now, to me, that made no sense. So he said barbers, plural. So kick all this good money out the door. I'm sorry, chat. I'm just not buying that. Like, these folks were probably paying $350 each minimum, and you got the shop closed for a month when they could be paying you that right there. So therefore, you're killing two birds with one stone. You're doing what you need to do in the shop, and the shop is open. Business is being conducted, so the landlord ain't tripping, and money's being made. Like, that's the money we all wish for, the residual income, where we ain't doing anything and the money's coming in our hand. That's what the renting chair is. I'm not cutting hair, but money's coming in my hand as a result of somebody's cutting hair. That's residual income. That's another stream of income. So you kicking folks out because they damaged a chair, allegedly. Yeah, that I'm telling you, this is not making. So all those other barbers got to get out, and you no longer want this monthly income that possibly pays the rent. It possibly pays the rent, and you're saying, nah, I'm good.
Not keeping it as a barbershop or whatever, and that was even a threat to the lease. Like, yo, this is supposed to be a barbershop.
So the chick that I was subleasing from would start sending me shit like, yo, this nigga's gonna he's gonna try to evict us, or he's gonna take me to court off of this. And highlighted in the lease, it says the purpose of the shop was a barber shop.
Right, dumbass.
She's sending me this little clip of it saying that the intention of this shop is supposed to be a barber shop, but with commercial businesses, just like a mixed use, it's still a barber shop.
No, it's not. It's not a barber shop. You're gonna lose like hell in court with that. I mean, like, that was dumb. A barber shop has barbers, bro. So the judge gonna say, well, who's cutting hair? Nobody. So it's not a barber shop. Like, I could put barber chairs in my place right now and some mirrors and clippers. It's not a barber shop. I'm not cutting nobody hair. It's going to be a room with barber equipment in it. That's it. It's not a barber shop, bro. For it to become a shop, it needs to have business. Before it becomes a mechanical shop, to fix tire shop, it needs to be putting on tires. You're big on putting tires on cars.
It's just we're shooting the podcast in the barbershop.
So if we got holy books in our room or living room or dining room, does it make it church? Like, it's wow, tether babble.
You can't tell a nigga, yo, because y'all don't got this shit open and barbers is cutting people's hair, that this ain't a barbershop. It's still a barbershop. You walk into the motherfucker, you look around, it looks like a fucking barbershop,
right? But it's not operating as one.
Full circle with all this shit, right?
It looks like it's not operating as one.
Which continue to grow and get sky high.
Peep this, y'all.
And I refuse to pay it because it didn't make no sense. Something was wrong. But, I'm stuck in between the war that's going on.
So that's the bottom line. You heard him? He refuses to pay $7,000 that he claims is the light bill. So now he claims he loves this barbershop, right? And he got all his dirty practices going in the background. But he's not going to keep his shop, to keep the momentum and everything he got going on. He gonna let it all fail over $7,000, not 70,000, not 700, not 7 mil. $7,000. He's willing to let his legacy just be ruined, and everything he worked hard for, over $7,000. Okay, listen, I got some exclusive information that's going to expose this dude. After I play his own words, I'm going to go into Hassan Campbell, Doggy Diamonds, and I got a secret weapon. He actually told on himself 2 months ago. Okay, and we're going to play his own words because he tried to, you'll see. But the dude is just a liar, man. He's just a liar. He cannot just keep it real. Like he said, he cannot keep it 100, keep it a buck for nothing. The dude is a piece of trash person. That's why nobody gets along with him. His whole inner circle, they all gone. In the battle rap arena, nobody got along with him. He was down with Hollow the Don and all that, and then they got rid of him. Like everybody, every crew he ever was within, they got rid of him or he got rid of them. Like the dude has a track record of just burning bridges. Loyalty over everything. Loyalty over money. What was Hollow the Don? Loyalty over, was it money? Was it LOM? I thought it was LOL. Loyalty, loyal over something, right? But whatever it was, he was supposed to be down with Hollow the Don. Then he ended up beefing with Hollow the Don. It was like some weird, goofy stuff going on, bro. Some Math Hoffa, unnecessary drama going on. But like that lets you know I was like a little in tune with what was going on with Math Hoffa before my expert opinion. All right. Because I used to be a big battle rap fan, and I even got a channel dedicated to, which I showed before, to the battle rap. You'll see how long I was on YouTube by my channels. My channels show you. I had a battle rap channel where I would do like the best of certain like Sue Surf or somebody. The best of, I'll do those videos because there were none. So I would do something that wasn't, around at the time. Just trying to blow up one way or another, seeing what works. But yeah. Look, the truth will come out soon, tonight.
These two people, right? So,
$7,000.
The person I lease from decides, fuck it, I'm gonna cut the shit.
But she don't tell me nothing. That's the ill part. She don't tell me nothing.
Bro, if you're, now, hey chat, listen to me. If you are getting the bill, how can she cut it off? Somebody send this link to Math Hoffa. Because even though I'm not an expert in none of this stuff, I can guide him right to go get the right help he needs. And to put that ego to the side, bro, that shit is making you a failure. Whatever you got internally that messed you up from a kid, you need to go and get some real help and let it go and just do whatever you got to do. Cry, whatever you got to do. Let it go, man. You're going to feel better when you start crying and let it all out. And when you're done crying and snotting, and when you get done, you're going to feel like a new person. Okay? But you holding all those tears in and you just hurting inside internally, man, this is what happens, bro. You're imploding. Your story's not mathing, bro. You get the bill, but you get the light bill, but she can turn it off. Okay. Keep lying.
The person I lease from decides, fuck it, I'm gonna cut the shit.
But she don't tell me nothing.
So the person he leases from decides she's gonna cut the lights off, which is impossible if the bill is in your name. But listen to this guy lying. So okay, he's either lying, I'm gonna give him a way out. Because again, I think he's just dumb. So he's either lying or he's just dumb on how life works. He's done with subleasing and he's done with light bills, bro. If the light bill's in your name, nobody can cut it off, man. Just you and Con Edison.
Nothing. That's the ill part. She don't tell me nothing. Nothing.
Come to find out,
Nat
the
Turner.
day that she
Nah,
cut the
and
power
Nat Turner,
here,
yo, it's a gift and a curse. So a lot of stuff I experienced was like on a negative side. And when I say negative, it's just unfortunate. Like I felt that something and I ended up over here doing this. You dig? And you felt like that because I'm trying to find, like when we're humans, I'm trying to find what I'm good at. I'm fine where I could like, whether it's working a 9 to 5, I'm trying to find like what 9 to 5 I can actually just work, kick my feet up, and don't mind being on the clock with a boss. Like, so you're just trying to find yourself, and when you try to find yourself, and you're not afraid of trying, you're gonna find yourself in different things and learning new things. Like I said, what person had worked for the USDA and worked for the FBA? Like no, like people probably never experienced one. But I work for the USDA and I work for the FDA. So I know the rules for both. I can tell you the difference, what regulates what, who regulates meat and produce, and what the FDA regulates separate from. Yeah, I could tell you the difference because people erroneously use the two interchangeably, the FDA and USDA. So yeah, I worked that. I worked in housing and in the contract side. So I work for companies that build homes and renovated, rooms. And I also worked in getting people in a home, housing, low income housing. So like I really worked on, which is rare. I worked on both sides of the fence. So it's like really rare. So I do have a background, office background. I got pharmaceutical background. I got just warehouse. Just I worked at American Express. I worked at Nextel. I did a lot of stuff, so I can talk about a lot. I just like nobody on the show had brought up stuff where those things were needed to be, disclosed. But when people call in more often, we just have regular conversation. You'll hear more what I know about, and that intimidates people because you'll think, hey, he just knows this, Black history, that. But then you change the subject, I know about that too. Then we change the subject again, hey, he knows about that. You change it to learning languages, he knows about that. You did like so. I know a lot, but I'm not a master of a lot either. So I know a lot, but I'm the jack of all trades. I'm not a master of one. So like I said, there's a gift and a curse, con and a pro to it. So I just try to, whatever I learn, I try to share it. And you guys actually be put me on stuff. Like y'all just said Hoffa, and y'all throw it in the chat and I'll look it up. Somebody in the comment section of another video said, hey, they also lied about the Gullah Wars. I know nothing about the Gullah Wars. But she just put me on. So I didn't read it just yet, but I pulled it up. I do. So I pulled it up and I'm going to read it probably tomorrow, most likely. And I'm going to share with you guys. But the Gullah Wars is something she put me on. So you guys be talking. Sometimes you'll say something in the chat and I'll look at it and look it up. Or you might put a link in the chat, I'll click it. Y'all don't know because I don't really, always tell you what I'm doing. But I click the link and that'll have me researching and then it lead me to rabbit holes to other researches. And now I know more than what you knew about the link. You dig? But that's pretty much what I do. And I study all day long. And because I want to stay sharp. So I don't read something that's interesting and let it go. I read it over, and then I do more research on it because I'm trying to be well versed. I'm trying to remember it where I don't need to look at a computer screen. Where I could sometimes listen. I would be debating. The guys heard me walk. They can hear the wind in the background. I'm debating walking. You did because so that means there's nothing in front of me, just off the top of the head. Based on what I learned and remembered. But I believe in stay ready, so you gotta get ready. I believe in the 5 P's, proper preparation prevents poor performances. So I try to always stay sharp so I can't be caught off guard. But listen to this guy.
What y'all think happened? What y'all think happened?
It also cut the power in different areas in the building.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so he's saying when the power's cut off, So he believed there was some janky wiring going on. So he believes. Now here is the part that I just find unbelievable. Because who did the wiring? And when it was done, for what reason? How did they know Math Hoffa will want to sublease here, allegedly, right? Quote unquote sublease here. And how did they know Math Hoffa's show will blow up? So I'm just trying to figure out. They wired the shop up. How did they know? How did they foresee Math Hoffa's show blowing up? Where we could make him pay the light bill. Like this right here just makes no sense to me. And keep in mind, he gets the bill. That means he gets to see how much it is and pay. Like, how would you pull this off? Like, I like think about that. Like, I got everybody lights fixture wired up to Ron's bill. This can only go on for this heist can only go on for 1 month. You know why? Because I'm gonna see the bill, and say, "What the fuck is going on?" And I'm gonna challenge it, and so that means it can only go on for 1 month. So again, I don't believe that. I don't believe that everybody was connected to Math Hoffa's bill because, dude, it doesn't make any sense. How are you getting the bill, but another person could cut your light off? Like that's not, you cannot do that. You can't do that anywhere in the country.
Thanks.
So now the super is like, yo, what's up with the electricity? The power here. It also cut the power in 2 years, like 2 years, without a problem. It's just you keep coming up with these extra numbers, and I'm like, is she scamming me? Like, what's going on? Come to find out, the day that she cut the power here, it also cut the power in different areas in the building.
Yeah, look at his animation. Look, I'm gonna go back. All this does for me is expose how dumb this man is. Look, look at the bottom screen where he do the hand gestures. Look.
It also cut the power in different areas in the building.
All right, so now let me debunk that real fast. Okay, look at this. In New York City, you cannot typically request that your electricity service be cut off because you owe a large bill. So listen, Math can't cut his own electricity off. So if the bill is in his name, now I already knew this because this is with phones as well, phones and like other things. Like you can't card notes, you can't tell them to stop charging me. I tried that. It ain't gonna happen. They're gonna keep charging. Just because you owe a large bill doesn't mean you can tell them, hey, cut it off, man. I don't want to pay no more. Cut it off. Cut my damages now. That's not gonna happen. They're gonna keep charging you until they can legally. All right. So I already knew that, but I wanted to show you guys that. So here we go. So you read it. So it says, look, utility companies will eventually terminate service if you don't pay or make arrangements to pay the outstanding amount. So they will eventually cut it off. They don't cut it off because you didn't pay the first 2 months. They're going to run it up on you. You dig? And then cut it off because they're not allowed to build up to $1 million. But they will run it up like 5 more payments. So listen, the math ain't math. If the light bill is in your name, you can't cut it off. So how the hell another person that the light bill is not in their name cut your lights off? This is making no sense at all to me. And that's why I said I think he just owed hella bread with the IRS. And he got this crazy ass lie, kind of like Umar lie, kind of like Garvey lie. It's just a lie to cover how stupid you are and incompetent.
Thanks.
So now the super is like, yo, what's up with the electricity? What's going on? Da, 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 da. And that's not even supposed to be like this. There's rooms, there's a basement, there's people with no power. Somehow that bill or the power source was rigged to other places in this building.
I don't believe that unless he's just dumb as hell to not know that.
You know what I'm saying?
All right, so now that can make sense why the bill eventually got to 7,000, but that wasn't no 1 month bill. He's lying about that. So if the building was rigged to his shop, I the only way that thing go to $7,000 is like almost a whole year. He didn't like it was happening almost a whole year, and he finally caught on to it because of the power going out. So now this is what could be true, right? So he could be telling the truth about that only if it was rigged for almost a whole year and he was being charged, and he didn't find out until the lights got shut off. He called Con Edison like, "Hey, what's going on? Yo, $7,000. How was that? And then that could possibly make sense then, or make better sense than what he's saying. But there's no way you're gonna convince me. You ran up seven. Now, people that live in like states that got just electricity, it might make more sense to you because everything's electrical. But in the East Coast, North, no, we got gas and we got water, we got electricity. They're all different. You know, I think gas and electricity is the same. It's something like that. It's tricky. It's tricky. No, because if a storm happens, your electricity goes out. We still got gas and our water still works. Yes, it's they all separate to me. All right. So a $7,000 light bill, okay, up north is like impossible unless you like own a building. You dig a couple hundred units, but nah, not at a single barbershop. That's impossible. That's impossible. It's like you have to do so much stuff. Like he said that they did a couple shows, right? You got to do hella shows for the whole month. So it's just not making sense how a light bill $7,000 is just not, and it's like bother me because it just like Math Hoffa, how you don't see that this is not adding up, man? How does somebody cut your bill? Like, can you imagine, yo, you're paying your light bill, right? And I just can call your light company up and say, hey, cut that off. How does that work? They're gonna ask for the account number, verify this, and they're gonna send you a text. They're gonna do all of that. They ain't gonna just take some random dude saying, hey, cut that off. Are you the account holder, sir? Are you the account holder, ma'am? That's what's gonna be asked next.
I'm taking the steps to
Bruh, the electricity from the shop run into the basement, run into other apartments, run into different spots in the building. So this is why this nigga was always beefing about niggas not being in the shop.
That is the dumbest explanation I could think of, man. That's why. So the landlord was like, how does the landlord benefit? Yo, this is crazy. How does the landlord benefit from a rigged light structure unless he lives in the building as well? Like, but why would he rig? But that would be dumb though. Like, what benefit would the landlord get to rig every apartment building? I mean, not building, but every apartment within the building. Like, it would make more sense if the landlord rigged your thing to feed his light, to feed his electricity. Why would he rig the whole, like, it just, Math, this is the best you could come up with. And this chick with him, yeah. Yo, man, women. God. Yo, stop, man. Stop. Help your men out. Do not help them become the worst they can become. Help them be great, man. Be a real help meet.
Cause if we not there and that bill come, just like I knew, where the fuck this shit come from? We ain't been in here. And then telling us, yo, you gotta pay for that.
take legal action against the situation, but it's
yes. But listen, the land, like, hold on, let's go back. How does the landlord tell you got to pay your light bill? That's some crazy shit. That the landlord doesn't care about your light bill or gas or water bill. That is the city telling you better pay or we cutting you off. Why would the landlord care if you're paying your credit card bill or your car notes? Why would they care? That's you. The credit card company will care, and the car dealership you finance your car will care. But why would the landlord say you got to pay your light bill? Yeah, this is crazy. I never heard of that. That's crazy. That's up to you. You want to cut in the dark? That's on you. Just cut and get my damn money. That's all landlord care about. You don't want to cut your light on? That's on you. But you gonna give my damn monthly rent? Chat. How is a landlord telling you got to pay your light bill? How is another person cutting your light off, your electricity off? That's wild, man. That's just unbelievable, crazy stuff that he believes.
It's tough. I can't turn the power back on because I need a lease, and if the lease is through this person, I'm subleasing, and they're not in communication. It's like we've been stuck. We've been stuck, and it's tough for me because, Rob, I got so many memories in this place. But if I gotta let it go, I gotta let it go. But
so your memory's not worth $7,000? That's wild. And again, man, you need to figure out the real reason. Like, it's not hard to just call the damn electric company and figure out why is the bill so high. They will tell you. But I don't believe it's in your name. I believe it's in I believe everything is in the woman's name, and you're not subleasing on paper. You're sublease. You did a verbal, quote unquote, sublease agreement, and that's that. But the bill's in her name. The water bill's in her name, and you're paying her the monthly amount.
I know this is wrong. What was done is wrong, and I want to fight. So if any of y'all knows the laws of New York City and how I can fight this the right way, get in contact with me. And if there's any barbershops out there that's like, yo, if you want to use our space, holla at us or whatever, maybe we go on a barbershop tour.
Okay, so that part right there really disturbed me. So you're asking, and you're Math Hoffa. You're supposed to be successful. You're supposed to have some bread, and you're asking the chat for legal advice. You're asking the chat about barbershop space. That concerned me the most about what we just watched. Like, bro, you don't have a lawyer? You don't have the experts around? Mr. My expert opinion? Like, yo, that really saddened me. And that part right there let me know that he's sincerely stupid, but he's sincere, and he's being taken advantage of, and nobody should be taken advantage of. Nobody. Like, I won't take advantage of anybody. I don't give a damn how I view you. I'm not going to take advantage of you. So he's being like this. I had so many clients where, I felt like, now they could pay me for 4 more months and figure out this ain't working for them. But I told them immediately, like, hey, man, look, and I could have used that money. But I'm like, yeah, man, look, this ain't really work. You might want to do something else, move around somewhere else. But that's what it is. And look, you want my honest, assessment. That's it right there. Now you can keep paying me. You can say, hey, Mr. Ron, I thank you, but I think something good come out of this. I want to keep up with your services. Shit, I wasn't gonna say no. I give you full disclosure. Hey, this ain't working out. But if you say, hey, nah, let's just see. Give it another year. Okay. I'll do that. Okay, that's on you now. But I did my part. So I believe he's being taken advantage of. This dude got no lawyer. That's why I say, now, if you don't have a lawyer, for civil matters like this, that means you don't have a lawyer for taxes either, or you don't have a CPA for taxes. That's how I concluded. Okay, this dude got tax problems. Now, I could be 100% wrong because I don't have much to go off other than a weird story that he's telling that's most likely a lie, or is mixed with lies. So that's how based off a little bit I heard from that in this next clip I played to you, that's what made me conclude, okay, I believe it's bigger than some light bill. I believe he owes the IRS more money than he have, or just about all of his money. Because again, if you're that stupid to don't have a lawyer for civil matters, then you're that stupid to don't have a lawyer for your finances, your taxes. To me, that's just like they go hand in hand.
You know what I'm saying? Maybe
we go on a barbershop tour. Because we damn sure can't sit up in the shop and tell ghost stories with flashlights underneath our chins. Like, yeah, so,
And yeah, and here's the other thing. If you're not on, here's the other thing that made me look at him funny. Like, dude, if you're not on paperwork and the bill's not in your name, why you just can't leave and open up another shop? Like, look, he's there now. He could take all of his stuff out. So it's not like he don't have access to the shop. Now, it's one thing if you don't have access to the shop, they're locking the door, they change the keyhole. Okay, now you have a big problem because now all your memorabilia is in there. You know, a lot of stuff that you are you grown attached to. You can't just let it go. You can't just let it go. Now I get that. Okay, now you're in a bigger problem. But bro, you have access to the shop. You can easily move your stuff out. So it looks like they're not withholding things from him. It looks like they just want him to go. So again, this doesn't make sense. Why not just collect your things? You're not on paperwork. The bill is $7,000. It's not your problem because it's not in your name. It's in her name. And just go do you, man, in another area, starting brand new, show going on. You got the same cast you did. What changes other than the shop? And yo, you think we care about the shop? Tariq Nasheed changed locations. You know, he was going live one place. Now he got a man cave designated for just lives, right? Hassan Campbell changes his stuff like that. That have people change their settings. Like, what's the big deal? I think Vlad setting changed. I know these academics change, his setting changed sometimes. Like, so what is the big deal about changing a setting? Like, the viewers will get adjusted to it. Just keep the content the same, keep the energy the same, and keep the interviews coming. Like, yo, he's not, according to him, he's not legally tied to anything in that shop. Why he just can't leave? The balance is not his, it's hers. Because first of all, she didn't cut the light off. You can't cut if the balance was hers, I read the law, you still can't cut it off. But according to him, he thinks she cut it off, therefore it's in her name. So there's nothing like tying him to that shop. I don't understand why he just can't get his belongings and open up a shop somewhere else. I just don't. And again, for him, it's not about the shop or the location. It doesn't matter. He has online. He's online. He's not in person.
So how was it working with Jay-Z and do you have any memories of Tupac?
All right. So allow me to expose what really happened. Okay, so now this is I want you to see how long ago this was. So this is 3 days ago. You see it right here? It's 3 days ago. Okay, I'm gonna go 2 months earlier. You know me, I like to consider myself a YouTube journalist. Okay. So I'm gonna go to my clips. You know, Tone got the numbers, I got the clips. So look what I'm about to do. Look who's here. All right. So just tell you, I clipped this 17 hours ago. So this was yesterday sometime or earlier today. It's earlier today. So watch what I found out.
Because me, myself, I've been considering quitting podcasting for a while to push my music.
What, you're going to quit your podcast?
Yeah.
Okay.
To quit.
Even though there's way more success.
This way this is why he wore shades. Nothing in his eyes make you believe he's telling the truth. Okay, so now look, 2 months earlier, he told Vlad TV that he's thinking about quitting podcasting. Okay, so now you see the bigger picture. He already seen the rah-rah, the foolishness going on in his inner circle. He already seen where the shop was going. So instead of looking at his mind, he's trying to save face. So he's talking about, hey, I'm just going to quit podcasting to Vlad TV. And Vlad TV, it just doesn't make any sense to him. So you seemingly got a successful podcast, and you're just going to give it up. Right? Nobody does that. So I'm going to go from the beginning again. So I want you to look at Math Hoffa lying eyes and look at Vlad's pushback and look at Math's response to the pushback. He's so insecure because, again, he's looking at it like he's a dummy.
Me, myself, I've been considering quitting podcasting for a while to push my music.
What, you're going to quit your podcast?
Yes. To quit
even though there's way more success on the podcast side.
Sometimes it's not about the success, it's about what your heart is telling you to do, bro.
Yeah, but you're also getting older. You're getting older. And there's certain careers that,
Vlad, listen.
So right here, he's trying to save face. He see the podcast is going to be nothing. So he's trying to get ahead of it and just say, hey, man, I'm going to quit podcast. So now you see where it's coming from? The dude's lying to Vlad. Like, hey, Vlad, everything's all good. I'm just going to quit. While I'm up, and while it's stuck, I'm going to quit podcasting. He's not telling Vlad, like, where it's at and this is where it must go because he failed. He's not going to say that. He's going to say, hey, I'm just going to quit while I'm up. So Vlad, like, wait a minute, so you just going to quit podcasting while it's so successful? And, it's not about success, man. It's about where your heart is at. The dude is just full of shit.
Easier to do as
Vlad,
you get up in age.
Listen to me. I do not give a fuck.
So again, see, he's an emotional guy that don't base any of his decisions on sound logic and reasoning. He's an emotional guy and he makes emotional decisions. So nothing Vlad tells him, Vlad, I don't give a F-U-C-K. I'm just going to be dumb and make another dumb decision. But we know it's a lie. We know what will really happen in the background looking forward, where we're at now.
If my heart is telling me, yo, man, you love this, go this way.
Okay.
I've always been the guy that's like, I don't care how many people tell me no, I'm going to go find out.
Now, that's dumb. No advisor would ever advise that. Ignore all of the good advice. Like, again, like women, I ain't trying to drag you down, but that was some emotional, feminine behavior there. Where a woman's told, hey, he's no good for you, he's a dog. Look, he got 6 baby mothers already. Yeah, but my heart, I'm just going to find out myself. With me, he's going to have a baby. He's going to stay with me. I don't care what you guys are saying to me. That's just some young girl stuff. This guy said, I don't give a damn how many people direct me straight. Direct me in the right way, down the right path. I don't care. I'm going to do the opposite and find out. Well, he effed around and found out, didn't he?
But you also have to account into what people are reacting to and what's actually.
So I want y'all to look at his lying eyes when Vlad exposed his reason for quitting the podcast as stupid. So now Vlad is gaming him like his little boy. Look at his lying eyes. Look at his posture. See, when I watch those interrogation shows, they make some of those shows, they have a narrator and they like an expert narrator, and they like show posture, like, when a suspect sits a certain way, they're confident. So in that confident stance, in that confident position, the detectives got to notice that and speak to him a certain way, like more fragile, because as confident as he is, he might, no, I'm sorry, it's the opposite. When they're confident, they're going to talk more. But when they're sitting like that, a detective got to back up. They can't be as hard because he's tensed up. He's not confident, so he's probably going to ask for a lawyer. So when a suspect is postured like that, the detective will fall back and be more easy and more friendly. This is the good cop, bad cop. He's going to be good cop now because his position is fragile. He looks like he's insecure. Fragile. So a good detective will read his body language and fall back and start to like be more of his friend. So, hey man, so how they might even say this to him. So I'm just curious. So your childhood, how was it? Like, was it rocky? Did you have trauma? Now they're acting like they're trying to find out what led him to be a suspect, but they're just making him easy, less tense. So he thinks they're trying to find out some reasons why he did the dumbness. They don't care about that. They want you to ease up, be more relaxed, talk to us, man. So his position, his body language is like showing me like he's not secure, like how he normally would sit when he's in his own arena. Like I'm saying he's a guy who's not used to being in circles or environments that he can't control. Because now he's a fish out of water, and look how who sits like that?
Gaining energy. You see what I'm saying? Like, I saw, because, if you look at my, I was a beat maker for a while. Didn't work out. No one was really gravitating towards my stuff like that, When I became a DJ, I saw a lot of energy around that. I got mixed.
It's like a little boy. He's sitting here and being taught a lesson about not how to make dumb mistakes.
Mixtape of the year. You know what I'm saying? The rap phenomenon, mixtapes, and the rock phenomenon.
So DJ Vlad had mixtape of the year, and he's let him know with all that success, he knew when to get out, basically.
I'm on the mashups and everything else like that. And that was great. I loved that era, but I also realized the money wasn't there.
But it wasn't in your heart, Vlad.
It was in my heart, but I also...
because you see, so he's trying to lead. You don't do that. You don't lead people to an answer. But it wasn't in your heart, Vlad. See, he did that bullshit. He should have asked him. But Matt, look, it wasn't in your heart, Vlad. Why did he say that? Because he's trying to justify this dumbass reason why he wants to quit his podcast instead of just being honest and say, Vlad, I owe $7,000 and I don't have the money. That's why I'm quitting the podcast.
Because you told me stories about seeing people do stuff and just knowing that you wouldn't be able to do that. I've never felt like that. I've never watched anybody and said,
when I saw Kid Capri DJ,
that.
when I saw...
Okay, so now this is a lying tether. He never seen somebody and said, I can't do that. Like, I hate when people lie like that. So when you watch LeBron James, Stephen Curry, SGA, Jokic, you look at them and say, I can do that. So that's what Vlad's going to say right now. Vlad going to be like, what are you talking about? There's many things out, there's many examples I look at and I say, I can't do that. So he's going to name Kid Capri, DJ Kid Capri. Listen.
Kid Capri on the mic. I
Anybody
when I saw Kid Capri DJ, when I saw Kid Capri on the mic, I said, I can't do that.
I've never felt like that.
So you never heard a song
felt like that.
and said, but you also have to account.
Okay, you see he's lying. He like, yo, come on, are you serious? I mean, it's just this, like, he's not honest with himself. That's why he's been a failure, and that's why he resorts to selling drugs, because he's not honest with himself. He's still trying to learn himself. So sometimes a guy like him need to do about 15 years so they can get to know themselves.
Name it. Name who, Kanye, Drake, Kendrick, name it. I've never felt like that.
Okay. Ever. Well, maybe it's still in you then. Maybe that huge hit.
So he said he never felt like he can't get to Kanye level, Drake level, Kendrick Lamar level. He felt like he can get there one day. Like, this is a guy who's been trying to succeed in rapping for most of his adult career. He got absolutely nowhere. Even on his podcast, right, that's like 1 million subscribers, he played the intro be his music. And if you read the chat hates, his supporters hate his music. But he says that he never felt like he can't get to Drake level, Kendrick Lamar, or Kanye West. This is a delusional man. And I personally could never hang around somebody this damn delusional.
It is just waiting to be unleashed to the world. I'm not going to tell you it's not there like that. Okay. Ever. Well, maybe it's still in you then. Maybe that huge hit is just waiting to be unleashed to the world.
Like 40
I'm
years
not going
old.
to tell you it's not there.
I mean,
You know, it's totally up to you. But for me, I guess I feel like throughout life, there are eras that coincide with certain careers.
But he
right?
got schooled.
At 51, I am 100% positive I will never be an Olympic athlete. I am totally sure of this.
Olympic athlete.
I knew that as a DJ, although I loved it.
Yo, look at he's smiling. The inhale. Like, this guy position is he's insecure because he's not in control of what's going on. The deep breath, the smile. Like, why would you smile like that when you disagree with him, but he's cooking you? Like, everything about this guy is he's not confident. He's not secure. He's a coward. And Vlad probably could read through that.
As I was getting older,
So
I
he tried
couldn't
to get
really
that
rely
hat.
on people booking me for gigs and doing mixed.
So Vlad just cooking him. But he got the hat on, the jacket, and he believes that convinces everybody all the time. But some folks just not convinced. Some people know you're a scared little man.
Tapes which are kind of illegal and, you know, trying to do that.
name it. Name who, Kanye.
35.
Right.
Yeah, 35, I started Vlad TV. Because I'm thinking about what am I about to do in my 40s? And
Okay, so what is he doing with the jacket? When I first seen this, I thought he was taking the jacket off, the coat off, the coat. I thought he was taking it off. And then he look, it looked like he's clearly trying to take the coat off. And then he stops and don't take it off. I mean, I would just like, dude, what are you doing, man? This is a guy who's, and look, tell me he's not taking his coat off and he stops midway and just leaves it hanging. Like, this was some weird stuff. Look at this guy. Like, and that freaks me out. When somebody's this inconsistent, it just freaks me out.
35.
Right.
Yeah, 35, I started Vlad TV. Because I'm thinking about what am I about to do in my 40s? And traveling around the world, doing $1,500 DJ gigs was not what I was looking forward to.
Right.
So I had to shift to find something that made more sense for my age as I was going into my 40s and eventually.
Okay, so he takes the coat off, he pulls the sleeve up so everybody can see his watch. And I don't mind that, but again, like, he's giving what I do have a problem with that. He's giving off the energy that he's rich. He wants you to show his what's that AP watch. So he wants to give off the imagery that he's rich, but he can't afford a $7,000 light bill. That's the watch probably costs $150,000, $250,000. But bro, you can't pay $7,000 for electricity. That's just driving me nuts, man. Like, this guy just too inconsistent.
Into my 50s.
There's a guy online named Brian Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
Heard of this guy?
Yeah, I interviewed him.
Yeah.
Yeah, the guy that doesn't want to die.
Talk to him about age.
Yeah.
How does he feel about it?
But he invests like
Okay, so now Vlad was making a point. It's like, yo, at some point, bro, you got to consider your age in the work you want to do, right? At some point, you got to do that. You can't be 50, 60 years old doing construction, like hardcore groundwork. Like, you got to consider your age. So he's just saying, hey, man, you got to consider your age when it comes to rapping. This is a young man's sport. You're like 50 years old and you're trying to start brand new now. Like, you know, if it hadn't worked for you in the past, what makes you think it's going to work now, basically? He's trying to like get him. So he said, you ever heard this guy randomly? Again, this is a guy who, it's a tether. They don't listen to what you're saying. They just want to respond and win. They don't want to be right. They want to win. So he's responding about an older guy that Vlad actually interviewed. And they said, yeah, man, talk to him about age. And listen to how Vlad responds and cooks him. And it's making this guy insecure because he's getting rebutted every chance. He's making an excuse to like talk about he'll rather be a rapper than a podcaster. He's trying to justify that, and Vlad is cooking him.
Brian Johnson. Heard of this guy?
Yeah, I interviewed him.
Yeah.
Yeah, the guy that doesn't want to die.
Talk to him about age.
Yeah.
How does he feel about it?
But he invests like $3 million a year into his health.
And you can invest time to buy you some time.
Yeah.
I'm in better shape than a lot of young niggas out there.
Hey, man, listen, I'm not telling you not to do it. If you feel
and
like...
ex-girlfriends attest to that. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, two
ex-girlfriends will attest to that, sure. And that's why the ex-girlfriends, right? They still not with you. Like, that dudes be corny.
Chains. 2 Chainz did that, right?
Yeah.
2 Chainz, I think, broke the mold as an older rapper.
All right, so now there's something I didn't clip that you just got to hear to believe it. So let me share that with you now. He says something that's going to like, listen, I got to play this. I have to play it. When you hear this, if you're not sold that this guy is just as bananas as Umar Johnson and Marcus Garvey was, nothing will. Listen to what this guy said about himself. If y'all don't believe he's delusional and out of touch with reality after this claim, then there's nothing going to convince you. Okay? Listen to this nut. Listen to this.
More money, if I just put 100% into the shit, why
okay,
not?
let me back up.
Money and more different.
The money doesn't motivate you?
It doesn't. In things, and for some things, you know.
So this is him lying about he's going to quit the podcast for no reason to pursue his rapping career, right? So it was for a reason, but it was to pursue. He's going to quit a successful podcast to pursue his rapping career that's unsuccessful. Okay. And he's going to try to make sense of it. Listen. And Vlad is like, what are you talking about, man? You're a failed rapper on all levels, but you're going to quit a successful podcast to entertain an unsuccessful career. Your rapping career has proven to be unsuccessful. And you're going to try to jumpstart that and leave a running car idle.
It was a learning lesson, but I can't fight it. I can't wake up and feel different. I don't know how to tell myself, yo, feel different.
The money doesn't motivate you?
It doesn't go away.
The money doesn't.
So Vlad said the money doesn't motivate you because he's acting like nothing motivates him to keep doing podcasting. He's lying about he's bored with podcasting and he want to pursue the rap career because he just loves rap so much. And keep in mind, we know today about the shot. You know, all the drama about the shot. Now, we didn't know that 2 months ago. This interview was 2 months ago. So we didn't know about all this drama in the shot. So people were like, wow, you going to quit the podcast? Wow, for his rap career? That's stupid. But had he said this after we know about the shot, we would know better. We would know he's not quitting the podcast for a rap career. We would know that the podcast failed. So now he want to resurrect his failing rap career because the podcast is over. Now, listen to what he's going to say about himself. That's going to make all y'all just turn this damn live off. Listen.
doesn't motivate you.
It's not so much, because if I believe that I can make myself, you'll feel different.
Okay, and then he's still playing with his coat. He like takes it off halfway, then they don't take it off. Like stuff like that just bothers me. Like, dude, you're uncomfortable, but you're trying to present yourself as secure and an alpha man. But I can tell you're taking your coat off halfway. You know, like that bothers me because he's cosplaying as a secure man, and he's lying about this podcast cancellation thing he want to do and to pursue a failing rap career. That bothers me, man. Like that irks me. Somebody just who's pretending to be secure, who's not, and who just lying.
The money doesn't motivate you?
It doesn't go away.
The money doesn't motivate you.
It's not so much. If I believe that I can make that money and more money, if I just put 100% into the shit, why not? I know I am one of the best rappers in the world. I know that I've signed a nigga that possibly is the best rapper in the world.
Okay.
So he knows that he's one of the best rappers in the world. This guy said he knows that he didn't say one of the best battle rappers. He'd be like, he's not even top 10 battle rappers all time. But he's going to tell you that he's one of the best studio recording rappers right now. Like, if that's not severe delusion, then you guys are possibly facing delusion. Yeah, his fan base, they scoff at his music. If I scroll down the comment section on this interview, I guarantee you somebody addressed that comment he said about he's one of the best rappers. Like that is pure delusion. Okay? He's nowhere near in somebody's daily music rotation.
Okay. I know that I've signed it. It's not so much, because if I believe that I can make that money and more money, if I just put 100% into the shit, why not? I know I am one of the best rappers in the world. I know that I've signed a nigga that possibly is the best rapper in the world.
Okay.
I know that I have a motherfucker that is so talented and so fucking diverse that they can do pretty much anything. These guys are gold mines. And if I sit here, like, I'm gonna play it safe. Keep fucking podcasting. I'm gonna play it safe. I'm gonna keep dealing with, the backlash, whatever fuck someone says in front of me, like I'm the one who fucking said it. Like, I can't do that, bro. It's not for me. It's not for me. I really believe in my shit.
Right. No, you don't. You feel like the shop is failing, right? Is over. And now the only way you can make money now is rapping. Even though rapping gives you a few pennies, that's better than nothing. That's the real reason why you're doing this. And those artists that signed with you, they signed with you because you were Math Hoffa, the podcaster, who had influence, who had a popping podcast that gave them, light, exposure. But now you're just Math Hoffa with no podcast, no exposure. These rappers don't want to work with you. Like, yo, you really believe they like you like that? No, they want to know what, as they should, they want to know, how can you help me get the most exposure I can get without, the most exposure I can get better than what I can do for myself. And the Math Hoffa, My Expert Opinion podcast can put them in front of hundreds of thousands of people, potentially 1 million. But your own works, you probably got maybe 50 YouTube subscribers. So, but the bottom line is that they're with Math Hoffa for his influence, his exposure, not because he's a cool guy. They're signed to him because of his potential exposure. That's it. Not because he's a cool guy.
I mean, but keep it.
Like, I can't do that, bro. It's not for me. It's not for me. I really believe in my shit.
No, you don't.
Right. But keep in mind, right, there's a difference.
Yo, look at his body language, bro. Pause. As Vlad counters that, he's so insecure. He does not believe what he's saying.
Being the best rapper in the world and being the best songwriter in the world.
Hey,
Because they're not the same thing always.
I believe I can be both, bro. I believe that. I believe that.
Because they're different skill
I have
sets.
180 songs that no one's ever heard.
Right. And we don't want
After
to
you hear those 180, then you give me a judgment.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? But for right now,
Matt, there's a reason why we never heard that music. Because you don't believe in it. Nobody told you it was fire. That's why we don't have to give you a judgment, bro. The fact we never heard that music lets us know you don't believe in yourself. It's probably most likely 180 songs of hot garbage. And I'm not even like joking, I'm being real. I know most likely it's 180 songs of wasted time in the booth.
no one's really heard what I can really do.
But you push your music through the podcast. It starts
I
off.
push light records.
See, I told you, you push the music through the podcast. I told you, man, I know. Vlad knows, I know. Like, dude, those guys signed with you because they believe you'll push their music through the podcast to get national exposure. But now you want to sign them and try to say, hey, I'm going to quit podcast. And be like, the hell you are. I didn't even put my damn music over that damn podcast. How you talking about you quitting? So how else is my music going to get exposure? Just tether babble.
Yeah. I don't mind not putting a budget through. It's like a taste tester. You know what I'm saying? I've never really sat down and said, you know what, for the next 6 months, I'm doing this. I haven't done that. At no point in my life, it's either I had a kid on the way, I had to get on my hustle, I was out in the streets.
He's further exposing like this lifestyle is not for him. How the hell were you a rapper for like 20 years and you never dedicated yourself to rap? That's an embarrassing confession.
There's no point in my life
It means he's just purely
that I know that I put a good 6 months into rapping. Even in the battle rap days, bro, I would write my shit the week of. Like,
and that's why it was trash. That's why you got like the least watched battle raps. We look at the views, you versus other folks. You're most likely the most least watched in the battle rap community because you're writing your stuff the day of. While this guy is preparing for a month for some clever shit, you're disrespecting the game and you're writing your bars a week prior. Very disrespectful, and that explains how garbage you were.
and I was able to touch heights in that shit. So
True.
what does 6 months of just math?
He's lying, bro. You did not touch heights. Again, I used to be a big battle rap guy. Math Hoffa name was not buzzing other than for punching people. That's it. Okay, his name. You had Holla the Don. You had John the Don, Sue Surf. You had Big T. I'm just off the top. T Rex. You had B Magic. You had Conceited. Like you had just way DNA. You just had way bigger. K-Shine. You just had way bigger. You had Hitman Holla. You just had way bigger names than goddamn Math Hoffa. That's just a fact. He was a small puppy. He had bill collector. I'm trying to think who's from the South. So I gave you Big T. But just a lot of host of other folks. You had my boy Heartless, who really wasn't that popular like that. So Math was probably more popular than Heartless. But Shotgun Shug, these are all East Coast guys. You had, of course, Loaded Lux. You had who's the guy? God damn, big nose dude that signed with Dame Dash. But anyway, like you had like huge names in the game, and there's other guys who I didn't name. I didn't like at the time, but people respect them. You had a lot of people, man. I'm not naming, but Math Hoffa name was weak in the battle rap scene. So for him to act like he got success in battle rap, dude, stop.
Math Hoffa being this. What does 6 months of just Math Hoffa being this look like?
We don't know because that's not in you. You would never give 6 months of Math Hoffa. You never did. You're 50 years old. You never did. You won't do it now, dude. That's just not in you. You don't give 6 months into something. You smoke all day, bro. And you'll say, I'll do it tomorrow. That's what you do.
Look, if you have the money put aside where you could survive during those 6 months, and if you feel that you could jump back into, my expert opinion, if it doesn't work out,
look at his body language.
Then go for it. There you go. It's that easy. I mean, look, I remember.
Okay, and so anyway, so I'm gonna end it right there, and I'm gonna pick up tomorrow morning on the second half. Okay, the second half, I'm gonna give commentary on this and this. Okay, so I'm gonna end it with that, and at some point I gotta go in this, right? So because you got tethers who talk about black crime, things like that. And this is Palm Beach. This is all like, it says only thugs, Palm Beach County mugshots, Florida. And you'll see a lot of these tethers that's like cosplaying as FBAs. But if you look at their name, you'll know they're not FBA. Right? So at some point, I'm going to do a live on this. We're going to just go through the mugshots and see look at this guy. Now, this last name, I looked up. This is a French last name. No, I'm sorry, not him. I didn't look up his, but he looked like another guy. But a lot of these guys are Haitian. Look at his last name. What do you think she is? But these folks will go down. He's clearly something else. But these folks will go down as FBA in the stats. Look at his name. This dude's name is Al Gurnan. And I'm supposed to believe you're FBA, but in the stats, right? In the stats, these guys go down. In the crime stats, these guys go down. I'm gonna go back to her. I'm gonna do a live on this. So in the stats, these guys go down as FBA. So then you'll have tethers like Kwame, who will come around and then give you stats that's negative in FBA society and act like tethers are not coupled in it. He'll act like tethers are not bringing down or helping to inflate the black crime rate or anything negative, the unwedded rate, right? The single parent home. He'll act like black immigrants don't help inflate those numbers and make them worse. Okay, so that's why I gotta do a show like this. Go and this is Florida. And this is Palm Beach County, where it's like heavily populated by majority from like black immigrants, is majority Haitians, and the Jamaicans are second. All right, so glad. All right, so anyway, I like man, the chat. You guys be coming through. Yeah, you know it's crazy. I went live tonight on purpose late. Sometimes I go live late. I don't want to. It's just because I didn't have time to go live early on. This is one night I wanted to go live late because I realized that sometimes I got more supporters the late hours than the early hours. And I think the worst time for me to go live is around like that 9-10 o'clock p.m. So if I can't get a live early, like 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock the latest, I will wait and go live around like 11:30, 12. But something about that 9 to 10 p.m. window for me, that just ain't it. Nobody be there. And sometimes too early, I'll say the 9 a.m. The 9 p.m., 9 a.m., like those 2 hours just ain't it for me. Like for some reason, people just ain't up yet or whatever they got going on. But they normally would holler at me and be supportive around 7 a.m. or around 11 a.m. All right. So with that being said, man, I appreciate you. Like the video, help the video circulate in live feeds. Folks will start pulling up, and hopefully we get some. Listen, the more the channel going to these live feeds, we're gonna get people who want to call in and challenge, and that is the good part because they'll challenge. Like they'll hear me say tether in a Math Hoffa reaction video, and then they will call in and act, because they don't know anything about me. They'll call in and do those weak talking points and get crushed. So I love that even better. I love when they don't even know anything about me and they call in. Oh, that's beautiful. All right. We out of here. Peace.